Champions at junior level, not just 4 titles, but last year their 3rd title in the last 4 editions of this competition. And Martin, their key players here were all involved in that success last year.
Yeah, that's the whole point. This factory, this production line. We start off looking at Ismaila Diagne. He is your classic prototypical big man, 2 meters 14. He clears up the rebound. He's an outstanding screener, something that gets overlooked, but not by this man here, Hugo Gonzalez, who is clearly the star player for Madrid. Here's the one that the likes of the French bigs are going to have to slow down. Gonzalez, if he gets hot, it's going to be almost lights out for Paris.
Paris being introduced officially onto the court first. 3-0 to top Group B, from 10 down to beat Overtime Elite by 16. They forced 26 turnovers, moved the ball for 26 assists, fast transition attacks. The recipe for them, they had a 40-point win over Alba, spread the minutes with good shooting, and then yesterday came back from 12 down early to beat Barcelona 101-96 in a fabulous group decider. They protected the ball well, just 11 turnovers, had 20 offensive rebounds, a decent shooting display, but it's their quantity of possessions that allows them to score big. Yesterday, 81 field goal attempts, 31 free throw attempts through the 40 minutes, Martin.
Yeah, Paris impressive throughout. They've taken every challenge under their wing and have just been just blowing teams away. That impressive game against Barcelona yesterday was something to behold. Barcelona had the bit between their teeth, and of course Barcelona not long ago beat Madrid for the Spanish championship. So is that a statement ahead of this game?
Real Madrid 3-0 to win Group A. Comfortable wins day 1 and day 3. The key game for them, the one in the middle against Mega, a defensive duel. They edged 60-55. Control of the interior key. Mega were held to just 17% from 2. Madrid shot 43%, another 20-9 advantage in offensive rebounds. They're led here by Javier Juarez, who led them to the trophy last season. And Lamine Kebe is on the inset bench.
Well, Madrid, defense is better, the whole team. And speaking of defense, one guy we haven't mentioned him, so Igor Demin, he has got to take on the living force that is Nolan Traore, who's dropped 45 points yesterday in that victory over Barcelona. If this head-to-head, if Demin, he's like the silent assassin. You don't even realize what he's doing. And then you look at his numbers at the end of the game, he'll have 12 points, 14 rebounds, a bunch of assists. His job, though, today is trying to keep the ball out of the hands of Nolan Traore, as difficult as that is going to be.
You see the average for Nolan Traore yesterday, it was an ANGT finals record, 45 points. He was 10 of 14 from 2, 4 of 8 from 3, 13 of 16 from the foul line, had 9 assists, 6 rebounds, and he did it against Barcelona.
Yeah, he did it against Barcelona, although I will say Barcelona have got length, but they didn't have the athleticism to guard him out behind the three-point line. So whenever he got on the drive, he was able to take advantage. The key thing, though, is in Real Madrid, you've got the #1 defense in the whole ANGT this year, and it's a team defense. They operate as a unit. Traore created a lot of baskets for himself, and of course he creates baskets by having the ability to move the basketball. So if he's making 9 assists, that's what opens him up offensively. This is going to be a fascinating, intriguing opportunity to see 2 teams that have got individual superstars and see how they match, because they're going to have to bring that title. There's nothing to pick between them other than that.
Ismaila Diagne, Nitar Bozniakovic, Igor Demin, Hugo Gonzalez, all key players for the team that won the championship for Real Madrid last year. They're on average probably a year to 2 years older than this inset team. Many of them, including those key players, will play their last ANGT games today. The only player really they lost from last year was the tournament MVP at the time, Jan Vida. As we get an introduction to your officiating crew for this championship game today.
You have to give a moment to the referees, Tim. They've had a really difficult job doing that. As we look at the starting 5s coming up, the officials have been outstanding all week long.
We talked about Noah Kwaku Egu in the center position. He's got the best plus-minus on this team, despite only 18 minutes a game. 7.6 rebounds, 1.7 steals, 1 block a game, a key part of their lengthy, athletic defense. will try and keep this Real Madrid starting five down. Hugo Gonzalez was the rising star as they won the trophy last year. Became Madrid's fourth youngest ever player last May as well, only behind Doncic, Roberto Nunez and Usman Garuba.
Interesting call by Coach Juarez in the starting lineup. He keeps Gildas Jimenez in there. I thought that he would have brought back Mitar Bosniakovic, who'd start every game for Real Madrid until this tournament. He's been a fantastic six-man, a critical player to start to see in the action. But Jimenez starting, that shows how he wants to go after the guards of Paris.
Yeah, Jimenez only playing 8.5 minutes a game across 2 games in the group stage. There for his defense, Bosniakovic did get a bit of a rest yesterday, only played 12 minutes. He will come off the bench in the final. Yeah,
but Bosniakovic against Mega, he was outstanding. It was like the man from Belgrade took out the Belgradian team. And he put so much into that. Coach Juarez, he's a master of moving his pieces around. He used him limited minutes. And Jimenez has started the last 2 games now, and that's an interesting mix. Bosniakovic is a player, he's so aggressive. And I'm so excited about this game, I almost stumble to think about the potential. It's like going to your favorite restaurant and they say, anything on the menu you want, the starter, the main, dessert, it's all on the house. Take your pick. Give me everything.
And this is the appetizer for the Turkish Airlines Euroleague Championship game across the Uberplatz at the Uber Arena later on today. But for now, the eyes of the world are on the rising stars of the world here at the ANGT Championship game.
And when you say that, Tim, it truly is the eyes of the world. How many scouts from NBA teams, head coaches of other Euroleague teams, Euroleague club presidents are in attendance? They are looking at this next generation. There is a feeding frenzy of young talent on offer.
Inspired by the proximity to the stars of the present ahead of the senior championship game in a few hours. This game a major stepping stone on these young players' journey towards the top. We're just about ready now for the championship game of the 21st edition of the Euroleague's ADIDAS Next Generation Tournament. First contested in Barcelona back in 2003, later expanded in 2014. We've had 11 previous champions. It really is now the world's premier junior club competition because the US will be represented this year for the first time ever. 2 of this continent's most famed academies have risen to the top again. Javier Juarez's Real Madrid, Lamine Kebe's Inset Paris. Will it be the record and reigning champions Madrid to cement their supremacy with a 5th title and a 4th in 5 editions? Or will Inset become just the 3rd ever team to lift the trophy a 3rd time?
It's interesting, the recruitment policies of these academies as well. Real Madrid recruit players, obviously plenty of Spanish guys. We already mentioned Bosniakovic from Serbia, Dian from Mali. So their recruitment policy is international. Inset, the French, entirely French. So this is fascinating to see the outcome. The mission of the Inset program is very much to bring us the next generation of French superstars. Real Madrid, the doors are open to the world.
Only 4 Spaniards on the Real Madrid roster for this tournament finals. Lots of the teams in attendance who didn't make it to the championship game. Lots of VIPs here as well. Not many empty seats in the house. The opening tip controlled by Real Madrid. Gonzalez shifting it on to his point guard, Demin. And there he is up against Nolan Traore straight away. Demin's pass inside. Couldn't handle it, Dian.
Well, I expect a little bit of nervousness now. These players, these teams have both been ice cool all week. But this is the championship game. And nobody came here to be a runner-up.
Here is Nolan Traore off the back of 45 points yesterday. Takes it straight to the goal. And it's going to count for him for the opening score. He picks up right where he left off.
When we talk about Traore, you talk about his explosive scoring. The thing that impresses me most about him is his ability to change speed. It's not about being the fastest guy on the court. It's being fast for one step. And just quick, slow. Suddenly explodes. And there you saw an example of it as he blows past Demin and gets the score.
Gonzalez will take an early three, grazes the wrong side of the rim. Offensive rebound, Real Madrid. Remember that a key part of the recipe against Mega. This time, Demin misses on the outside and batted back in. How about a third chance scoring opportunity? Gonzalez with their first score.
Well, Paris have been dominating teams by controlling the backboards, but you see there just how strong Madrid are. They've not been shooting the three-point ball particularly well at all, just 21% this whole tournament in Berlin, but you see how relentless they are on the backboards.
Suffocated on his way up, Kwaku Egu against two Real Madrid bigs. Jimenez. Jimenez again from Gonzalez. So much is going to go through the hands of Hugo Gonzalez as he rides some turbulence to the rack, and he converts against Diakite, who's a very good defender.
Well, the explosive nature of Paris probably gets more views on social media, but Gonzalez, I'm telling you, Tim, this is a rock-solid player. He is a locked-in star of the future.
It's a player who played 6 EuroLeague games at senior level this season. Hugo Gonzalez averaged 4.5 minutes. Demin, 2 meters 4, Russian guard, banks it in. The swivel and the score and the celebration to match.
Well, I talked about Demin and say he plays any position his team needs him. He's a point guard by trade, but here he's playing the forward position, and this is the kind of skills that he has. It's a complete unit that Madrid have, and it's an interesting contrast to see the classic big man in Ismaila Diagne rebounding at the other end against the multiple athletic bigs of Paris, and so far Madrid are on top.
And you've got Igor Demin as a guard who's averaging 8.7 rebounds a game. 1.3 steals, 1 block a game as well.
And this is where Jimenez is starting the game, trying to have the young man trying to take on Traore. Of course, he's not going to be able to hold him down, but Traore's going to play 37, 38 minutes. And so what Madrid want to do is to throw like a phalanx of different players at him.
Back out by Demin to Gonzalez. Madrid by 3, 2.5 minutes in. Not having a problem scoring so far. It's that man again in the corner. Demin off the mark. Diakite, did he step on the line?
Paris will let Demin have that shot. He's a good three-point shooter, but this week he's only shooting 9%. So that's, if you've got to allow something to happen from Madrid, that is the shot. Until he proves he can make it, they will let him have that one.
Demin will inbound. The three-point shooting his only real issue at these ANGT finals. Gonzalez, little head fake, spins back baseline, too heavy off the glass. I mentioned Diakite, a very good defender.
Well, you see the length there and the athleticism of Diakite, which gave problem. Oh, my word. What a pass. Drop the mic. Let's go home.
Boulefard finishes it off. Beautiful play to get him a rare free look at the basket in this early exchanges of these intense championship game minutes.
Well, that spin move by Traore to get the dime out of the double team.
Tough shot off. Allar grabs the loose ball. Traore 4 points, 1 assist now.
Well, they're playing him one-on-one, but I think you'll see Coach Juarez is just going to sub a lot and put new players on him constantly just to have fresh legs against him. They're going to try and wear him down. He might score 30 points in the first 3 quarters. The idea is, given the effort he put last night in, is he going to be tired down the stretch?
And that's the thing, isn't it? Incep had a group decider yesterday. Had to put it all on the floor against Barcelona. Real Madrid had a day off, effectively, having secured top spot in Group A 2 days ago. Well,
they won that game in the first quarter yesterday, so then it was over as a contest after 10 minutes. And so then, yes, Coach Juarez was able to rest some players. He's already done this here. He sat down Jimenez, and he's got Miguel in there, I think, now to go, and another change in guard. Well, of course, I say that Demin can't make a jump shot, and he nails one.
Long range 2 for Igor Demin. Rattled in, Real by 3. Traore. Diakite hasn't been much of a scorer, but he knocked down a few yesterday, and that won over everything.
But did you see there, when Traore moved the ball on, Miguel didn't drop into a held position. He stayed up there to deny him. The idea is to wear him down. They're not going to stop him. They're going to try and contain him.
off the foot of Igor Demin.
Well, I have to say, Tim, in the early exchanges, this game is living up to the hype. You can see the majestic skills of Nolan Traore and the awesome defense of Madrid. And we're midway through the quarter. I think this is going to be a tight one. You've got the #1 defense in Madrid against the #2 offense in Paris. I think the outcome's going to be somewhere in between. We'll end up in the 70s or the 80s. This is not going to get up north of 100, that's for sure.
That offensive inset has been built off their defensive platform as well, hasn't it? They like to get forward quickly in transition if they can. Haven't hit their threes too well, but they attack well on the interior.
Well, there, Decatur using his quickness. And the good thing he's got, because he's so long, he can elevate. He's not intimidated by Diane as the shot blocker.
Gonzalez, Diane off to Demin. Demin inside, luck out. Well, he went for the layup and he missed it.
Well, he dunked it before he caught the ball.
And Traore trying to pounce in transition.
Smart play by Diane there. He could have been all in trying to block the shot, but what he did was waited for it to get on the rim to see if he could knock it loose. You have to like this kid, Gonzalez. I've got to stop calling them kids. These are young men. He reads the game so well. This is the kind of skill you can't teach. You can see the double team coming. He keeps his head up, splits the two defenders, and draws the foul.
There's the Diakite score over the shot block attempt. Traore, who turns 18 on Tuesday, picks up his second foul. So he's forced to the bench probably for the rest of this period.
Yeah, that's a big call there. I thought it might have been Boulafar who got him. It was one of those pick 'em for the officials. And for Paris, unfortunately, it was the wrong one. Oh, nice play.
Demin denied,
Wow.
high above the hoop by Tali Sulak. That's a guard getting up for the rejection. And then on the offensive end, he'll earn himself a trip to the foul line.
Well, we talked about the Parisian athleticism, and you see it in full effect there. Because Demin's going for the slam, and Sulak says, "Not, monsieur."
We talked about Demin's length. He's 2'4". Sulak, only a 189 guard, met him at the rim.
That was quickness. Demin was, if it was who could stay up there the longest, Demin wins, but Sulak got up quick, made his move. As I say, we're looking at arguably the two best 18 and under teams in the world right now. Expect them to make great plays.
Talk about Paris having to pour everything in yesterday. Sulak got somewhat of a break because he fouled out in 10 minutes in yesterday's game. Fresh and high flying for that rejection.
And now we're midway through the first quarter. The early game adrenaline will be starting to calm down, and we're going to start to get a better feel for what the game plan is of both of these teams. We've already seen that Madrid, they're going to try and wear down Traore. No better way to do that than getting him into foul trouble. And for Paris, they're going to rely on their switching ability, where they've got all 5 players can pretty much guard every position.
And the positive for Inset is that Traore does get a breather on the bench, at least on those 2 fouls. Diane back out. 3-point shot, wide open. Over the top, Diane underneath it, off the miss from Duru.
It's good recovery from Paris there. Diane with the offensive rebound. What he needs to do is go straight back up quickly. He's trying to rip through and pivot through, but there's so many good hands in there for Paris.
Cameron Windu in the game, the number 21, has made a real impact in limited minutes so far. It's Sulak taking on the responsibility on the offensive end, though, with Traore on the bench in foul trouble.
Well, we talked about Traore, the importance of him off the back of one game, because he hadn't played a huge amount coming up to that. They have needed to use his talents. But don't forget the quality they have got on this team, right 1 through 12.
And don't forget about the quality of Hugo Gonzalez either, as Real Madrid get back level at 12. It's a big shot for him. He was struggling to hit on the outside, 4 of 18 in the group stage.
Yeah, but he makes big shots when you need him to. He's like an elder statesman. There's Demin.
It's Demin all the way through, and this time forcefully finishes as he rocks the rack in a big way.
Well, he says that time, you want to block my shot, block this. Demin, as I said, not really spectacular, that was, but generally he just does the right thing, and at the end of the game you look up, he'll be a PIR of 15 to 18, and he's held the best player on the opposition down to half their average.
One of the players that's already made his senior Real Madrid debut in the Spanish league, as long as a year ago. And here he is picking up the ball after another defensive stop. Gonzalez fouled, the third on inset in this first period.
And you see the defense by committee of Madrid there. The ball goes into Boulafá, and the hands are poking away, and straight away they're into the transition game. Asier Miguel, he's one of the inheritees, if you like, for next season. Coach Juarez having confidence in the full bench. And then, you know, you've got Demin and a lot of star players. Well, some stars in the stand. How's about that for Kutluay and Bodiroga, a couple of Euroleague champions. Of course, Bodiroga now the president of the Euroleague. You have to love the structure of this tournament. How proud he must be as president of the Turkish Airlines Euroleague, the Euroleague Federation, to have this tournament to showcase the academies of each of the clubs around the world, around Europe, and of course then you've got the one team as well, where the community program of Euroleague. This is a finely tuned, outstanding product.
And it's a fine championship game so far. Real Madrid by 4. They did have a 5-point lead earlier on. Inset overturned that to get ahead. Now Real Madrid with a 2-possession lead once more. Sulak, open shooter, is their best shooter, but Boulafá misses the target.
Yeah, that was a breakdown there. Guille and Miguel, you didn't communicate. You do not leave Boulafá open. Shooting 67% from the three-point line, 12 of 18.
It's Demin. There's the long arms on defense of Yimga Makori, the 15-year-old forward who starred for them at these finals. Yeah, 21 minutes a game, 16 points, 6.3 rebounds, 4.3 offensive rebounds, 1.7 steals a game for a 15-year-old.
Well, you mentioned the age of these players, and I think that could be important. You talk the maturity of that about the Madrid players, and there you see it's like they've been together several years. They know where they're going, and they know who to give the ball to as well. Gonzalez is the elder statesman. They're looking to feed him.
He moves to double figures in the first 8 and a bit minutes with 11 points, but he points in appreciation at his teammate for the pass. Shot well challenged, but Sulak knocking it down. That's integral for Inset, with Traoré on the bench in foul trouble. But somebody else takes on that responsibility.
Oh, that's a tough move by Sulak. Defender was good. That foul, I think, was it called? Yeah, it was called after the shot. That's a big play. He gets the bucket. And Paris will get the ball back as Traoré is called for the foul on the rebound.
Sulak again. Hasn't been much of a scorer at these finals, but he's got 6 points here on perfect shooting in the first 8.5 minutes. He's fouled by Traoré.
Oh, 2 quick fouls for Traoré. He knows that one. He wasn't happy with the last call, but it's often the way you make one and then suddenly you come out and pick up another one. Traoré, it's not a huge problem for him to get into foul trouble because they've got a whole gang of big men for Madrid. And Coach Juarez does not want him to tame his aggressiveness.
Yeah, he's their backup center to Ismaila Dian. Sidi Gueye, also the option off the bench, who comes straight in and grabs a big rebound.
Well, Gueye has been really impressive this week. He's another one of the youngsters, just 16. And he's learning on the fly.
All 18 of Real Madrid's points have come through the hands of Gonzalez and Demin so far. Are they going to add a third scorer to the list? Not yet.
No, it's a difficult shot for Bosniakovic. Good defense by Paris. Forced the Madrid offense to break down, denying Gonzalez the possession of the ball.
Lovely backdoor cut, baseline burst, and dunk detonation from Jonas Boulafá.
Well, how's about that for a response, though? Outstanding backdoor cut. The defense of Madrid trying to get up into the passing lane. Boulafá with the great backdoor cut. Guille getting a little bit lost, but this is the response. That's a beautiful backdoor cut. And then Gonzalez is behind the baseline after the score, and then he streaks down the floor, and straight away he draws the foul. And that's experience. That's the knowledge that he has at 18.
A fabulous feed from Sulak. His second assist to go along with those 6 points. Sulak was their assist leader in qualifying. It's almost like he'd taken a back seat to Nolan Traore at these finals after Traore didn't play in qualifying. But with Traore on the bench, with those 2 fouls, Sulak has stepped out of his shadow.
This is one of those games you kind of throw the shooting percentages out, and almost to a certain extent you throw out the stats. The numbers don't mean anything really. Okay, it gives us an indication of what to expect, but it's actual personnel. Can these teams get the ball in the hands of the players they want to touch it? Gonzalez for Real Madrid, Traore for Paris, and then of course, who is the X factor? There's going to be a player on one of these teams that you didn't think was going to do much and will step up and make a huge play.
Real Madrid have only needed 2 players for their 20 points in this first period so far. They're back up by 4. Sulak. Traore still sitting. Mbungolo Munonga. Sulak again, slipping it on the bounce. Composure in the paint. Banked in and one. How about that from Nathan Solimon, who only turned 15 last week.
Well, that's impressive play. The composure at that age to wait. Fundamental basketball, he's been taught well, keeps his feet balanced, and that's a big play because the intimidation factor for the shot blockers like Diane gets eliminated if you can get the and-one opportunity, as Soliman has right there.
And he does that only 19 seconds into his introduction to his first championship game, completes the 3-point play. He was an all-first-teamer in qualifying at the age of 14, but he's taken a smaller role here.
Well, I've spoken to plenty of people from the world of French basketball, and they're really excited about him.
Final possession for Real Madrid in this first period. Little floater too long. Offensive rebound grabbed by Gay. Lost it. Sulak comes up with it. Options left and right. Feeds it out. They've got 5 seconds to shoot. Nice dribble off the window again and clattered midair by Diane. Was Mbungolo Munonga.
Yeah, great rebound at the one end by Guille. That's where he's got to have a guard who demands the basketball. Because in turning it over, what you've done is you created the fast break opportunity for Paris, and that's a big call. Diane picks up his 2nd foul. And if Mbungolo Munanga can make these free throws, then Paris will close out the first period with a lead, something that didn't look like it was likely midway through the quarter.
With Real Madrid's top 2 centers on 2 fouls each as well.
Well, one thing we can say for sure, Tim, is that no lead is safe between these 2 teams. You mentioned Paris came back from down 12 against Barcelona. Madrid have not really been under pressure at all, but the quality of defense that's on offer from both these teams means a 10-point lead is not something that either coach will be too concerned about.
Well, there's no lead right now. At the end of one, these 2 junior titans lock level. Real Madrid 20, inset Paris 20 at the end of the first. Largest lead so far has been 6 for Real Madrid, inset by 3. We've had 4 lead changes. We've had 2 Real Madrid players score all of their points. Demin and Gonzalez, key players on the championship winning team last year. And we've had Paris continue to score despite their top scorer at this tournament, Nolan Traore, sitting on 2 fouls, having only played half of that quarter. Sulak taking on the responsibility, leads them with 6 points, 2 assists. But how about the performance of Gonzalez? 13 points on 4 of 6 shooting from the field, including a 3, 4 of 4 from the line, and a 15 PIR in his 9 minutes and 13 seconds on court so far. 20-20 at the end of one. You see that 2-point shooting from Incep and indeed from Real Madrid. Real Madrid hitting the only 3 of the game, 1 of 9 the 2 teams combined. They've had 1 extra turnover, but 5 extra offensive rebounds. The offensive rebounding count 5-0 in favor of Real Madrid. So they've taken 4 extra shots from the floor so far.
Well, if either team can make a three-point shot, that could change the outlook on this game. But rebounding, although it's +5 for Madrid, the offensive rebounds for Madrid I'm impressed with. It's their defensive rebounding. They are not allowing Paris second chances. And we've seen I say not to worry about the stats, the numbers this whole week. No team is shooting the lights out. So you need a volume of attempts if you want to have a chance to win.
There's been plenty of rotation from Lamine Kebe through the course of these 4 days. He trusts his group. Nolan Traore remains on the bench. Their standout offensive star for the start of the second period. 4 points, 1 assist very early on. Only played the first 5 minutes of the game before picking up a second foul.
Well, you know what, Tim? Throughout this finals in Berlin, every coach that's gambled by having a player with 2 fouls play in the first half has been stung. So don't be surprised to see Coach Kebe and Coach Juarez to keep those players with 2 sitting down until the second half.
Sulak squeezed through the first pass, and then Windu couldn't squeeze through the second. Turnover on Paris, 4 each now for the 2 teams.
That's a great example of Real Madrid defending by committee. There was no real star there. Everyone's got their hands up in the passing lane. They're swarming. They're more athletic now with Diane on the bench. I think that Sulak's just caught a finger in the eye. And by stepping off the court, he can receive treatment and come back in. Good to see the officials making sure that a player is safe. Player safety is crucial. But look at that. The Madrid players are hands up everywhere. And somebody we haven't mentioned yet, Declan Duru. He is arguably one of the best defenders I've ever seen at this age group, because he could literally defend his grandmother. He can grant anyone, and he does not care. He is ruthless on the floor.
Temin the inbound to Gonzalez. Gonzalez, 13 points of Real Madrid's 20, pings it out. Demin, touch pass, Bosniakovic, the most likely to be the 3rd scoring option, can't convert.
Oh, Bosniakovic. He's been making that shot in the group stages. That's one he'd like to have back.
And that man Traore is back in, having sat for the last 5 to 6 minutes over the top of the shot blocker. And the spell on the bench in foul trouble did little to douse out his fire.
Well, he's always going to be able to score. It's going to be this end of the floor now that's going to be important. Does Madrid try to go after him? Get him to pick up that 3rd. Good hands there from the number 11 of Paris.
Open spot on the perimeter, 3 passed up by Yimga Makori. Not so much a 3-point shooter. How about Nolan Traore finding a free path through the paint and a free route to the rim instead? 4 points in a flash after coming back in for Nolan Traore. And that time, the high-flying finish.
Well, Madrid has not seen a player with that quickness in the whole finals. And that's the thing, they're settling in on defense, and he jumps through, jab step, and gets to the rack. And with Diane on the bench, they've got no rim protection.
INSEP's largest lead so far.
¿Dejamos de defender o qué? Es decir, que es que vuelve a irse a la derecha. Oye, que se vaya por la izquierda una. La línea de pase, Hugo, que no puedo ir con bote, ¿qué hemos dicho? Paciencia, lado débil, Sorrol, que están haciendo red, meter el balón al Sorrol, que ya tenemos ventaja, ¿vale? Otra vez, 3, vamos.
We talked earlier in the build-up about INSEP not being a team of shooters, but a team of athletic players who will pound the paint, run in transition. Nolan Traore, the guard, showing his athleticism with that stretching two-handed soar and score. All 10 of their field goals so far have come from 2-point range.
Well, that's good recognition. If you're 0 from 3 on the 3-point line, don't shoot threes.
Real Madrid have taken 3 extra shots, but they've all been 3-point misses. INSEP by 4.
This is outstanding defense from Paris.
Bosniakovic to try and break it down, lost the handle on the ball, has to get the shot away. Deep three-point shot, air ball, and a shot clock violation.
What that defensive set did there was Paris was switching on all the screens, but they kept the ball in front of them at all times. So even with good player movement, they weren't able to open up the defense. No seams to get through, which means you end up with a desperation three-point heave.
And that was off the back of Javier Juarez's timeout to try and stop the Rocks. Still nothing doing for Real Madrid. Can INSEP create the out-and-out largest lead of the game? Traore going at it again. Nice feed into Solimon, and he was fouled and will go to the line for 2.
Well, you see what happens now. When Traore scored a couple of baskets, suddenly everybody in Madrid is looking at him. When he's got the ball, they're thinking, how do I help? In this case, Asier Miguel. And of course, in doing that, you lose sight of your own man. The first rule of basketball on defense is to be able to see the ball and your man at all time. Now, if Traore's got the ball, you can see him. Just don't lose track of yours. And that's what happened then. And how Solomon gets the open look at the basket and will go to the free throw line.
And that time it was Traore, a player who's already made the step to the senior game. Played a couple of excellent games just last week in the French League playoffs against Euroleague team Asvel. And he found the youngest talent on this team, Solimon. Solimon splitting his foul shot, so 5, the largest lead for INSEP, the joint highest lead in the game. Demin for 3, too heavy.
Well, Madrid are going to have to change this shooting strategy. They're going to have to get back to what they had in the first period, was attacking the basket. And if you're going to shoot threes, the three-pointers need to come from the players you want to shoot them. Paris are not going to let Demin stand out there and shoot the 3 ball all day long. And if he makes 4 in a row, maybe they'll change.
Yeah, Madrid as a team, 1 of 8 on the outside. Demin is 0 of 3. That, I believe, puts him at 0 of 14 at these finals.
Yeah, 9% in the whole. That means he's only made 1, including the qualifiers. And they've not needed to worry about that. And they don't need to go to the three-point shot now either. They're shooting just 20% as a team in Berlin. So do what you do best, attack the basket.
Work hard on defense as Gonzalez does there, the superstar with the grit at the other end of the floor as well.
That's the first time they've shown a zone defense all week. That shows how worried they are about Nolan Traore. But again, defensively stuck behind the three-point line. When they get inside.
Ismaila Diane will sky for the score.
Well
and then
done.
Gonzalez again with the lightning fast steal turnaround triple. Couldn't have the score for the tie.
Well, that's where your adrenaline is flowing. You got the offense, you got the steal, told his team to calm down, and they shot the 3 ball anyway. Just got to try and remember, just make the right things happen. This is what, when Madrid gets the ball inside, then good things will happen for them. That time, that screen and roll I talked about before the game, Diane is excellently coached at setting that high screen and then getting himself to the basket.
Diane will be feeling better after that. He's got 2 turnovers, 2 fouls. That was his first 2 points. Traore penetrates the paint, passes off. Ball fumbled, Solimon got a look at the rim from on the baseline.
Well, you know, I've said to you, I don't care. If you're playing here, your age doesn't matter. But you can't ignore that one. That's a young man who can show great composure over a big shot blocker. He gets the friendly roll. That's confidence for you. Oh, nice pass.
Diane's pass. Demin inside, double digits.
Well, you see there again. They get the ball inside to Diane in the low post. Then your options open up.
Diane with the assist to add to his 2 points. How about the flying follow? Ricochets out down the baseline, back out. Queuing up on the perimeter. The flyby, the 3. And Napton Solimon's star is finally shining at these finals. He saved it all for the championship game.
Well, that's an impressive look there. Shot blocker comes sailing past him, and he's got the confidence just to take the open look and make his team's first 3 of the game.
Gonzalez, for a bunch of bodies, earns a trip to the foul line, but 9 points now for INSEP's top scorer, Solimon. We said he'd been comparatively quiet at these finals compared to his all-team of the tournament in qualifying. performances. Well, now he's arrived on this final stage.
Well, we're seeing some electric individual performances from both teams. But if Madrid wants to win this game, it's their passing that's going to get them in it. They're going to have to, it's the player movement and finding the open look. And that open look needs to not be a three-point shot. And for Paris, rather, they've got the quality. Soliman has showed already that he's ready to go. Traore is playing outstandingly well with 2 fouls. This game finally poised.
Gonzalez 1 of 3 at the line. I beg your pardon, 4 of 5 at the line. 5 of 6. So 14 points as he recovers from his first miss.
And I say that no lead is safe between these two teams. Okay, Instep have come back from down by 12. Madrid were down by 5 points against Mega in their second game, and it may have been a 30-point lead for as close as that game was.
Quick hands on defense from Gonzalez again. Couldn't come up with the interception, and Alar, an air ball. He's been off. He was a 42% three-point shooter in qualifying, Yanis Alar. Only 2 of 11 at these finals now. Yeah,
but he had no choice but to shoot that one. I'm not going to criticize. I'm not going to criticize anyone for taking a shot that they have to take. You know, that was one, the shot clock's winding down. That's a defensive stop rather than a missed shot.
Demin. 9 points, 4 assists for him. Gonzalez, the 14 points you see at the bottom of your picture, midway point of the second. Madrid down 5. Demin, offensive rebound, Diane.
That's one where Kwaku Egu's going to say, my face got in the way of his elbow and I end up with the foul. But this is what happens. Deming gets the penetration, the 2-point shot, better than the 3, and then Diane's got good position for the offensive rebound. And when you get inside, you see the defenses move. When they're shooting 3-pointers, the whole Paris team's inside the paint. When you get that penetration, suddenly you've got players all over the floor, and Diane's going one-on-one for the offensive rebound, and he'll back himself at in that situation.
Those offensive rebounds have been key to Madrid keeping it close. A 6-1 count in their favor. Diane has 2 of the 6.
You know, I said shooting percentages weren't important. The one that is important is free throws. There's an old saying, free throws and layups are going to win you championships on offense. They're going to have to make freebies because the foul count's going to rack up. 4th game in 4 days. No matter what you think about young 15 to 17-year-olds, there's some tired legs in this building.
Well, 0 of 3 on the outside now, but his teammate picks up the pieces and puts it in. Boulefard. The skip through and score. Hugo Gonzalez just slicing past the defense.
Again, the layup at one hand, Gonzalez is behind the baseline, and he beats everybody down the court. Coach Keba, he's going to have some words with his team about getting back on defense. No home run trots when you make a layup.
Traore lost it, had to go down to the ground to recover it. Found Soliman, shot clock down to the final 4 here. Soliman versus Gonzalez, who commits the foul with only a couple of seconds left on the shot clock.
Well, Coach Juarez is frustrated, but that there is just a taste of the fatigue that gets into the legs. I was just about to say, when you've got the chaos, you do not need to reach in. You've got to think there, Gonzalez. This is where he's a bit of fatigue. He stretched down the court. He's just made an awesome play. Then, in that case, Solomon's got the ball at half court with the shot clock running down. Jump back off him. Don't push up.
So the shot clock reset to 14 off the back of Real Madrid's 4th team foul of the second. So any further defensive fouls from them will send Inset to the line, shooting foul or not. Traore bounce pass and blocked off on his route to the rim was Diakite.
Well, I'll tell you, Demin there, that was an excellent hand play there. Traore just silky smooth, splits the double team. And then by the importance of that block shot is not only does Demin stop the play, but he stopped Diane from picking up his 3rd foul.
Traore, oh, he was clattered as well. Back-to-back blocks, 3-point shot missed. And the rebound wrestled down by Duru.
Well, that is just great team play from Madrid. The rejection, Gonzalez and Demin are both sneaky shot blockers. You know, Diane gets the headlines for it, but they're both going to go after it. But then it was the collective. Desperation heaved that time from Paris, but this time Madrid does not panic, and they go clean up the glass. That man Duru.
I mentioned Demin averaged a block a game, listed as a guard in the group stage. Gonzalez averaged 2.3 blocks a game.
Well, you mentioned the scoring load being carried by Madrid players, just a few players. The minutes load is being carried heavily by them as well. They've got 4 players who have been out there just about the whole game. Dian had to sit down because he had 2 fouls. But keep an eye on Demin and Gonzalez in particular. They're going to have to play a lot of minutes if they want to win this one.
Into Paris by 4, 28-32, timeout.
Simuler, mettre les mains, etc. Et nous, on tombe dedans parce qu'on n'est pas focus. Nous, on tombe dedans parce qu'on marque un panier. Il y a un joueur qui part là, un joueur qui part là. Hop, on part. On n'y est pas sur le but défensif. Parce qu'on ne transite pas. On a déjà pris 6 points là-dessus. Les basiques. Les basiques. À chaque fois qu'on a fait des bons basiques défensifs, on a gagné la balle. Après, on attaque. S'ils sont en indiv, faites des plays, on bouge la balle. S'ils sont sur zone, on joue sur short. Tout à l'heure, on avait la balle poste haut ici, très bien. Regardez les relations avec le grand. Allez un peu plus loin, allez jusqu'au pick and roll. Mais pas regarder Nolan, la balle elle bouge. Allez, on a plus 4, tout va bien les gars. Allez,
You talked about players taking on the long minutes and the scoring responsibility for Real Madrid. That was the recipe for them in last year's championship game. They only had 5 scorers in that game, but all of them were in double figures, and 4 of them are playing here in this championship game. Gonzalez had 17, Bosniakovic 13, Dian 12, Demin 10. The one who's missing, the tournament MVP, Jan Vida, who led the way with 19 in his last ANGT game. All of them played beyond 30 minutes in that game, so it's the same recipe for Real a year later.
Yeah, and the minutes is crucial. We mentioned they've got 4 players in double figures, 15 minutes for Demin and Gonzalez already. Meanwhile, over on Paris, only Boulafar has played 10.5 minutes, and Traore's played 11. Other than that, he's spreading the wealth.
Demin, one of those players looking to find another in Dian. Demin, though, pulls the trigger on a 3, and he hits it with a hand in his face. Igor Demin for his first 3 of these finals.
He heard you saying that he couldn't shoot threes, Tim. I told you not to say it in earshot. I didn't say he could not shoot it, but Paris, you're going to make him prove he can make it.
Long range 2 in retaliation comes from Yimka Makori.
That's a nice, calm play by Yimka Makori. Hasn't had many touches in the game so far, albeit he's been out there for over 8 minutes.
Demin and Gonzalez combining for 28 of Real Madrid's 31 points. Dian with the other 3. Gonzalez stripped.
Yimka Makori again sticks in there. That's the help defense.
And that provides the platform from which to launch the offense, although Real Madrid chasing back with their transition defense, stopping Sulak.
Well, Gonzalez couldn't resist touching the basketball there. Good help defense between him and Demin, and the ball gets poked out of bounds. And Gonzalez, well, he didn't see. He was out of bounds. He's trying to get back in. Just had to leave the ball alone. Let his teammate get it.
Sulak to inbounds. 6 points, 2 assists for him so far. Solimon 9 points to lead the way for Paris. Hands off to Traore. 8 points, 3 assists for him. They're the 3 standout players in terms of the numbers. Boulafar, turnaround triple. Jonas Boulafar on the mark again.
And he recognizes that Dian may be a shot blocker, but not on threes.
I think he heard me as well. He's up to 9 points, level with Solimon. Demin, he's going to shoot another. How about that one from Igor Demin? He missed 13 straight threes before knocking down 2 in a row in the championship game.
That's why they make us commentators, not coaches, Tim. Because we said, don't shoot threes, and what are they doing there? They're starting to light it up from deep.
Boulafar, he's got the hot hand for inset, misses that one. Real Madrid a chance to tie or get within 1.
That zone defense, they're not showing it every time down the floor. Coach Juarez is just testing, he's probing to see how Paris will handle it. Meanwhile, Paris relentless with the man-to-man defense, and that is a huge call. Offensive foul on Ismaila Dian for the illegal screen.
That's his 3rd foul.
Well, that's a difficult one for him to take as well. And what you like is they take it in good spirit. Dian, he sets the screen and he takes off to the basket. The referee judging that he stuck his hip out. I would contend he goes the other way. But Once the whistle is blown, it's a foul.
Real Madrid have committed 10 fouls. 7 of them have come from the 3 centres. Yimga Makori off the mark from 3. We've got 3 fouls on Diane. He's on the bench now. Gaye with 2. And Traore with 2. It's Demin. Heat check shot that time. Would have been 3 in a row. Traore bounce past Solimon.
Wow.
Was looking to put Duru on a poster. And Real Madrid's defensive ace was having none of it.
Well, Duru said, you get on my highlight reel. Get out of town, young man. I told you, this Declan Duru, he's just a ruthless defender.
Yimga Makori off the glass to try and beat this shot blocker. And how about the hang time from Sulak as he floated and stretched and scored.
Well, in defensive end, he showed he can get up for block shots. Then he elevates over the big man. And that's a big call. Traore's got 3 now as well. Did they call that one on Traore? It looked like it was. Is he walking to the bench?
Diane was already sitting on 3.
No, did they call it? They did. They gave that to Traore. And what they're trying to do is deny Gonzalez, in which case you would then say to Coach Kepe, if you want to protect Traore, you can't let him try to defend Hugo Gonzalez. You got to put somebody else on him. You've got other defenders that can handle the heat.
Gonzalez keeps getting to the line.
Well, the thing about this, we talk about volume of shots sometimes. So Gonzalez, okay, he's the standout player of the game so far, no question about that. But because you're shooting so many free throws in the game, you just get into a rhythm. And of course, watch this, commentator's curse.
He gets to the line because of his aggression, confidence, explosiveness, and he's got 17. In fact, I think now 18 first-half points, Gonzalez.
Coach Juarez would say he doesn't care who scores the points. But I guess he promised you he is going to be very pleased.
Pinged interior passing, and Gaye was not having the score at the end of it. But Paris persistent in the paint, come right back at Real Madrid.
That's big-time move from Solimon, because he got himself to the angle and not scared of the shot blockers.
He's got 11 points now. Gonzalez on the bounce, finds an open shooter. Bosniakovic hits the target from the corner. It was never going to be too long before he finally found his mark. It comes on his 5th shot attempt from the floor. And Real Madrid are breathing down the neck of Incep Paris.
That's what happens when you've played together for 3 or 4 years. Gonzalez, I was about to say, needs to move on there plenty of time, but he finds Bosniakovic. That's almost telepathic. Outstanding play by Madrid, but Paris still have the edge.
Donne la balle à Thalys. Ils sont en zone ou en indive. Pick and roll. L'amène loin. Ouverture. Ici. Nathan, c'est la ligne de fond. Classique. Le bas classique. Que ce soit indive, que ce soit indive, que ce soit zone. Au bout de la possession. Un bon démarquage ici. Thalys à la remise. Nathan milieu. Non. Nathan et Sopra. Hugo au milieu. Ok. Allez, ils ont 5 fautes. Il y a 5 fautes d'équipe en face. On ramène la balle au bout.
Real Madrid only hit 1 of their first 9 threes. They've knocked down 3 of their last 4 now. Mounting a comeback from 6 down, which in the landscape of this game is a large lead. Both teams have been up by as many as 6. Real Madrid now back within 2. 21.2 seconds remaining in the first half, so the shot clock turned off. Ball in the hands of Inter.
Well, we're talking about the three-point shooting, and this is for the coaches to decide. Both of them would be confident coming into this game that they didn't think that they were going to get beaten by three-point shooting. Now both teams are starting to make them a little bit. It gets into the head of the coaches. Do you go out on those shooters and open up the lanes to the basket, or do you stick with your game plan? And this is something the variety of coaches do. You think of the greatest European coach of all time, Zelko Obradovic. He will change his coaching game strategy in the warm-ups, let alone during the game.
Sulak, 5 to shoot now to the corner. There's a three-pointer again. Yimga McCory battles it around and down to beat the buzzer at the end of the first half. And that's a huge shot from a 15-year-old for Inset Paris to put them up by 5 at halftime in the championship game.
Well, we just talked about it. Do you let him keep shooting it? The answer's going to have to be no. That is impressive finish. Sulak taking on the point guard responsibilities, and that's a big-time bucket by Yimga McCory. This Paris team is not going to go away, and Madrid are showing that they are certainly ready for the championship challenge.
Their balanced offense sees them ahead. 4 players on 8 points or more. And Inset Paris lead by 5 at halftime. Real Madrid 39, Inset Paris 44. That was only their 3rd three of the game on 10 attempts. After Real Madrid, we just mentioned, had hit 3 of their previous 4, having only hit 1 of their first 9. But what about the performance, Martin, of these 2 players here?
Well, we looked at the head-to-head too, the key performers. Gonzalez, no surprise from him. But Soliman, with Traore in foul trouble, he has been simply outstanding.
Yeah, Soliman, the young player, was only averaging 7.3 points in 17.5 minutes of the group stage. Quiet compared to qualifying 11 first-half points here. Nolan Traore, 8 points, 4 assists. Did pick up his 3rd foul, so that's limiting his impact on the game. The Real Madrid bigs are in foul trouble, but Paris's star combo guard is also in foul trouble. That could have a big dynamic shift through the course of the second half. A big out-and-out individual stat line has come from Gonzalez, the 18 points, 2 steals and a block as well. Demin with 15 points, 5 assists as well for Real Madrid. So it's the 2 standout stars for Madrid versus the more balanced approach of Inset.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And that's been reflected not only in points, but also court time played. Diane, the only one in significant foul trouble. The axis between Demin and Gonzalez, he has to believe, is going to be the difference for Madrid. And for Paris, well, it's a collective. Certainly impressed with Soliman, but then you had that Yimga McCory little outburst down the stretch, not just his scoring, but also defensively. This game, I wouldn't want to pick it. What I am going to say I've got wrong is it looks like it's going to be a higher scoring affair than we expected.
Yimga McCory up to 5 points on that 3, 8 each for Traore and Sulak, 9 for Boulefard and 11 for Soliman. In that balanced offensive output for Inset Paris, and they have the lead by 5 points at halftime in the championship game. They're taking extra shots, Martin, because they've got 2 extra offensive rebounds and 2 fewer turnovers.
Well, they're taking care of the basketball marginally better, but as you would expect, the percentages between these 2 teams are going to be similar. What we're going to have to see now is which team gets tired in the second half.
Halftime, Real Madrid 39, Inset Paris 44. Welcome back to the Uber Eats music call here in Berlin. Half-time in the championship game of the 2024 ADIDAS Next Generation Tournament Finals. A 5-point lead for Inset Paris, a high-scoring game, but no high leads. Both teams have been up by as many as only 6. 5 for Paris at the half then is a comparatively large lead in the scope of this game. Real Madrid 39, Paris 44. We've witnessed 5 lead changes, neither team able to pull away. So much that could change through the course of the next 20 minutes, though, with fatigue and foul trouble. All of these players playing for a 4th straight day. For Real Madrid, it's the 2-pronged attack of Demin and Gonzalez combining for 33 of their 39 points. Solimon, though, stepping up and adding his name to a balanced Paris approach. 11 points to lead the way. 1 of 2 from deep, 3 of 4 on the inside, 2 of 3 at the line, a steal as well. He's done that in just under 11 minutes on court, having been fairly quiet through the course of these finals in the group stage. He's waited for his moment to shine in the championship game. 11 for him, 9 for Boulefard, 8 each for Sulak and Nolan Traore. Traore with the finals record, 45 points yesterday. He's in foul trouble. As for Real Madrid, just the 2 players scoring the majority of their points, led by Hugo Gonzalez with 18 points in 19 minutes played. 4 of 5 from 2, 1 of 3 from 3, 7 of 8 from the foul line, 2 steals and a block on defense as well. He's got the highest PIR of all players in the game at 23. Slightly ahead of his teammate Igor Demin, who's on 15 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, a steal and a block. We'll see if those Real Madrid players have the stamina to go the distance through the full 40 minutes and to mount a fight back from 5 down at the half. 39-44 is the score. Paris taking the majority of their attempts on the interior and converting them at a high accuracy, 58%. That's been a key part of their philosophy through the course of these finals. And you see the leaders have just focused on in terms of points. Diane and Boulefard, their team's respective rebound leaders. We talked about Demin's 5 assists. Nolan Traore, 8 points, 4 assists for him, 13.5 minutes played, but 3 fouls. And there a look at the groups, how these teams made it to the championship game as undefeated winners of their groups, both at 3-0. One of them's going to have to lose here after 20 more minutes of fantastic junior basketball.
Well, the question here, Tim, is how does Coach Kebby manage the foul trouble of Traore? Does he bring him straight back in at the beginning of the half? And if he does he try to put him on a lesser used weapon of Madrid? He can't have him guarding Gonzalez anymore, that's for sure. I think Madrid can play without Diane, with getting more fouls. They can suffer that. If he's playing with his 3, you can risk him picking up a 4th foul. You want that veteran leadership. But that lineup they had at the end of the half was pretty good, and yeah, I'm not surprised to see Traore. You have to keep your powder dry. The way Sulak is playing, I think that Coach Kebe is making a wise move here by starting with Traore on the bench.
5 fouls the limit here in European rules basketball. So 3 already for Nolan Traore, the star scorer at these finals. He continues to sit. Start of the second half, Real Madrid with the ball down 5.
And Paris come out in a zone, something that Madrid has not seen this week.
Wozniakovic, he'll get it back, get an open 3. Way off by his standards, picked up with the offensive board, and Demin couldn't get right back up. As Paris inside used their length and the way they pack the paint.
Well, we talked about the gamble for Coach Kebe when Madrid started making 3-point shots, and there's the answer. He said, I don't care. We're going to go zone defense. You prove to us that you can keep making them.
We mentioned towards the end of the first half, Madrid only hit 1 of their first 9, then knocked down 3 of their last 4 on the outside.
Well, the thing is with that zone defense, it allows the mindset of Madrid to think jump shot instead of penetration. That's when they're most effective, is when they're attacking the basket.
Field goal score here will be the out-and-out largest lead of the game. Sulak, a technical call.
Yeah, technical for flopping, faking on the foul. He shot the jump shot. The coach Kebe is up frustrated. When he shoots the ball, the contest, and then watch, he just dives on the floor. There's the technical foul. You should say to him, the Oscars were in March, and the Best Actor award has already been won by somebody else.
So the technical will be one free throw for Real Madrid, who will then have the ball. First foul on Sulak.
I'm about to say, interesting they put Deming on the line. He may be overall the better free throw shooter, but Gonzalez has already taken 8, and he's in a rhythm.
Here, Gonzalez, 7 of 8.
Well, just, you know, Deming overall is probably a better free throw shooter, but Gonzalez has had 8 in the game. He's in shooting rhythm. Here we go. Now, this is when basketball turns into chess. Coach Kebe is going to use a zone, challenge Madrid to make threes. Igor Deming hasn't made a three-point shot the whole tournament. He's now made 3 today. Has he shot Paris out of their zone back into a man-to-man?
Real Madrid back within 2. Deming up to 18 points to tie Gonzalez.
Well, the 1-3-1 zone defense protects the middle of the paint especially well, and it stops the penetration from the wings. But that guard-to-guard pass, that three-point shot at the 45-degree angle is pretty much open all the time.
Sulak. Traore still sitting. He takes it mid-range and glances delightfully off the glass.
How do you say old school basketball right there? 45-degree angle, pull up, 2-point shots. And sure enough, there's man-to-man for you.
Second score into double figures for Paris.
GA's got to be stronger than that.
Grabs it, second attempt, looks to muscle his way towards the window and had to control his body mid-air to score and got his geometry spot on.
When you're looking at the youngsters of Madrid, the future is bright. Sidi Gueye, well, how's about that for a move?
2 meters 7, 16-year-old center. Outside shot well contested off the mark. Rebound Deming as well off the miss from Boulifard.
Yeah, that's great defense where they recognize Boulifard is a massive throw. Oh,
the flash, but not the finish.
Well,
Sidi
Gueye, he's smiling. It's one of those things, you know, the young generation now, they get all excited because they've almost made a dunk. You got to give me the points, young fella. Do not make eye contact with your coach right now.
And a championship game as well. That would have been the tie for Real Madrid from 6 down.
Well, that would have raised the roof and momentum swinging back to Paris because he's missed it.
Sulak. A foul on Duru as Alar hits the deck right in front of our commentary table.
Yeah, Alar. Nice curl cut. Duru always leaning in. Picks up his 3rd foul. And the reason why foul trouble could be so important in this game, Tim, and I hate to say this early in the 3rd quarter, but this game's going to be tight. And you need to have as many players available as possible if we end up with something called overtime.
Real Madrid 2 team fouls in this 3rd quarter. Inter yet to commit one and back up by 4. Duru, Deming, guarded by Yimga Makori. Deming takes another 3 off right that time.
That's a bad 3-point shot by Deming. He can get a better look than that. And Gueye, you can see he's motivated to make up for that missed dunk. And as a group, we talk about offensive rebounding. Madrid had the first 5. Since then, Paris have matched them on the offensive boards. They've had 8 offensive boards themselves. But this is about activity.
Gonzalez. Talked about it being a high-scoring first half. Points more at a premium now. Gonzalez weaving his magic, but not able to come up with a score at the end of it. But how about turning to his hustle instead to try and salvage the play, and Demin fouled on his flight path.
That is the Hugo Gonzalez we've seen throughout this tournament. Remember in the first half, he got the steal, he told everybody to calm down, and then shot a 3. This time, he's got composure. He misses the shot, he gets the steal, he stays with the defense, and he waits for the play opportunity to come and feeds Demin. This is chemistry. This is 4 years of being together. He knows who to put the ball in the hands of. And the other thing I was about to say before that play actually happened against the man-to-man is Madrid needs to get back to feeding him. Demin and Gonzalez have driven the offense throughout this game. You're not going to find alternative solutions now. You keep riding that pony.
Now a 20-point performance, 5 assists, 5 rebounds for Igor Demin. Real Madrid halved that deficit again. 2 quick fouls for Paris after the 2 for Real Madrid. Sulak shot clock down to final 5. Diakite fouled. It's not a good foul for Real Madrid. Their 3rd. Diakite not really a shooter.
Yeah, that's a soft foul for him to compete there. So the stars come out for the important games. Former MVP himself, I think, Vali Micic. Now applying his trade in the NBA. Of course, a couple of Euroleague championships to his name.
Part of the Anadolu Efes team, the key part, alongside Shane Larkin in the backcourt, that won back-to-back championships, the first 2 in the club's history, under Ergin Ataman, who's competing again for the championship with Panathinaikos later on today. But right now, it's all about the ANGT title, and a big shot from Boulefard.
Well, talk about fatigue kicking in there. That's Madrid's defense, the legs not being able to stay, keep the ball out of the hands of Boulefard, and then a soft pass from Bosniakovic.
He backs up his shooting with his defense, and then his composure in the paint, and another score, 5 and a flash for Boulefard, and the largest lead of this final at 7.
That's a bad decision by Mitar Bosniakovic, trying to feed Diane with the defender all over him.
They're doing it with Nolan Traore on the bench as well, Paris.
Well, their defense is what they're riding.
Bosniakovic backing in over the top of Diakite. Tough shot, but a big one that Bosniakovic knocks down for Real.
Well, we said they're going to ride their most senior players. Bosniakovic there, fading away, Dirk Nowitzki-like.
Sulak guarded by the center, Diane, who's on 3 fouls, remember, and he forces the turnover on Sulak with a travel.
The idea was right, the execution was poor. Sulak trying to get Diane's 4th foul, Diane playing solid defense, but that is a tough turnaround jumper. Bosniakovic trying to make up for the mistake that he made that led to Boulefard having a little 5-point outburst.
14 points to lead his team now for Boulefard. 7 was the lead, back down to 5. Demin. Up high to Diane, caught it on the way down though, puts it back up, and he'll go to the line for 2, where he's 1 of 2 so far.
Yeah, Diane got frustrated with himself there. He caught the ball and he had to gather it. Watch as he catches that. He's got to keep his ball up over his head, and then he can just pop back up. But by coming down and bringing ball down to his waist, he's going to struggle to get it back over his head. That's a good foul by Alaa.
He puts the 17-year-old Senegalese centre at the line, a player who made his senior Euroleague debut this season, playing 6 minutes.
At this stage of the competition, we said it was lights out scoring for fun in the first period, not so much here in the third. Now you've got to, it's the small executions. It's going to be every little advantage you can get.
And every offensive rebound you can get. That missed free throw saved and put in. Down the baseline with the persistence comes Bosniakovic. And he's stepping up as Madrid's third scorer now.
Well, where did he find the space to get on that baseline? And what a time to get your first offensive rebound and stick back.
And Traore back on the floor on those 3 fouls for Inset. Yinga Makori spinning, shooting over the top of Gonzalez. Short, Diane puts it back into the hands of Gonzalez, and Madrid can look for the tie or the lead from 7 down.
Oh, Madrid get back to their recipe on defense, as does Paris. That's a poor pass. Oh, Gonzalez just flinging his body around. And he's not trying to get the steal. That's just to stop the play. This is the whole thing. At this level now, you are seeing a true example of the 2 best teams in this tournament showing their true skills.
What a terrific two-way talent Hugo Gonzalez is. Not just about his 18 points, but 3 steals and a block. So still Inset ball. Both teams 3 fouls now. Inset by 2. Real Madrid were not going to win the championship game with just 2 scorers. Bosniakovic's arrival here on the offense has been crucial. 7 points for him now. Catch, quick release. Boulefard grabbed his own rebound in between 2, and he got fouled on his way back up by Demin.
Yeah, Demin's got to take that foul. That's great interior passing there. Paris are just starting to get away from what worked for them. This is where things are good. We talk about interior passing, break the defense, make the play. Defenders have to change.
Boulefard, we've talked about how good a shooter he is, misses his first free throw of the game.
You know, it's often the case you see some of the best three-point shooters in the world can't make a free throw to save their lives. But this game can. But this is the time for him to show his true colors.
He's knocked down 8 of 14 threes now at these ANGT finals. Splits a pair of free throws. So still a 1-possession game, 4 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter as Boulefard goes frustrated to the bench.
That's a strong move by Boulefard.
On the interior with Bosniakovic.
Well, now this is one of those times where the little loose balls, the pokes, the knocking it away, this is when it will make the difference. No one's going to get clean looks anymore. The game's turning scrappy. 4th game in 96 hours. Legs getting a little bit tired. The brain gets a little bit tired.
Bosniakovic is trying to inject energy to the offense for Real Madrid. 3-point shot. Asier Miguel. What a time to take and to make his first attempt at the final.
But he's been shooting the 3-point shot extremely well all week. But that is confidence in his teammate Gonzalez.
And what a time to respond for Umbungolu Munonga.
Wow, how can you make an awesome play at one end and then a deadly mistake at the other? Gonzalez cannot believe he's been called for the foul. He's talking to the official still.
Umbungolu Munonga says, I'll take your 3 and raise you a 4-point play.
The margin for error is so tiny. And we said this on the first day. This is championship basketball. And you've got to be able to show you can do it 4 days in a row. And as the game wears on, the final one, you cannot make mistakes.
All the numbers are so tight, as is the one that matters the most. 54-58. Inset lead by 4. Demin off balance, off the mark. Foul underneath. It's on Inset.
Right, Solomon, see, he's being held all the time by Solomon. At the end, the old-fashioned big man. Shot goes, get position. Let the ball come to you to get the rebound.
We've seen Diane split both of his previous pairs. He played 35 minutes in last year's championship game. Demin played 39 minutes of that championship game win.
Yeah, I would say court time is crucial here. Which player can last the longest? Demin tried and trusted. But Coach Juarez is not going to abused that opportunity. He's going to test a couple of other players. Interesting that Miche comes in. Kylian Miche, super quick point guard. Another one of those energy players like Bosniakovic.
Real Madrid number 6, we're seeing him for the first time in this championship game to the right of your picture. Sulak on the bounce, looking back out. Going to the baseline, does find his three-point shooter. Too heavy this time from Mugolo Munonga, who just hit one a few moments ago.
Yeah, and the shove in the back underneath. Windu, Traore. That's the play that Madrid will take. They want Traore to become a passer. You want to test the other players to score. That's the whole point. You're going to live with whatever Traore does. And then try and see if somebody else can beat you. It was Soliman in the first half. Boulafa at the beginning of this period.
Both teams at the foul limit for the third already. Diane back at the line.
Normally pretty reliable at the free throw line, Ismaila Diane.
1 of 2 in 3 previous trips. That's the best he can hope for on this particular trip to the stripe.
And there's a team now, 13 of 19. That's 6 free points you've left on the floor in a game. You trail by 3.
It's 3 of 8 altogether after a pair of misses. Skipped out to the corner. Soliman steps in for the long-range 2, off all the way. And a chance for Real to run. Gonzalez just stops and pops in transition. Misses the 3.
Yeah, he's got to read the numbers here. Got to
Real
see
Madrid
where
players
the right decision.
on this near side coming in.
And you see the shot that was missed before by Soliman sets up Madrid for a fast break opportunity. And then that transition attempt by Gonzalez, that's what sets the scene for Paris to have success going back the other way.
Nolan Traore will be like a shark smelling blood with that Real Madrid foul count. So adept at getting his head down, keeping control, attacking the basket, earning trips to the foul line.
Well, you have to ask yourself, you know, where does Nolan Traore really excel? Chaos basketball is where he's also, when you've got broken plays and players scattered all over the floor, that's something he loves to see. That's he'll lick his chops at being able to take over scoring-wise, particularly as he has not picked up that 4th foul here.
Inset back up by 5, as was the lead at the start of this period. 2 minutes to play here in the third. Only once have we had a 3-possession lead throughout the whole of this championship game. Shot clock winding down on Real Madrid. Turnaround Diane from deep, and a violation.
Well, Miche there just lost track of the shot clock, which is not something you want to see from your point guard. Bad decision there. That's excellent defense from Paris. Credit the defense rather than criticize the offense. As I say, it's going to be the team that can dig down and can make the right mental plays. The physicality will come naturally. And you just get the sense now, if Madrid has to keep coming from behind the rest of the way,
Sulak couldn't convert at the end of a nice dribble drive to the basket. Would have tied the largest lead.
Paris, you have the feeling they need to keep their nose in front now. They don't need to. Madrid, if Madrid makes a 6-0 run and gets in front, I think it'll be difficult for Paris to get back at them, but who knows the way these two teams have played.
Deming couldn't find Diane. Windu got a touch. Sets Traore out in transition. Real racing back. Traore passes on. Soliman looks back out. They'll slow it down, play in the half court.
See the composure there from Traore and Paris, the contrast that's what we had from Madrid last time.
I thought it might be the other way around with Real Madrid's extra age and championship game experience.
Tired jump shot from Traore, but the hustle play. Offensive foul.
Munonga got it.
Offensive foul there, surely.
But he commits the foul and turns it over instead.
Well, that's what Miche's out there for, the energy play. Look at Hustle gets his feet set. Bang, take that one. Now, Coach Kebby has got that break for Traore in the third quarter of this game. Give him the last minute. But he's going to have to go the whole way in the fourth period.
Michet flips the pass in. Demin lost it on his way up.
Mungola Munanga, that's the best defensive stop he's ever made in his life. I think he knocked it off his hands with his knee or something, but he'll take it.
Still 9 on the shot clock for Real Madrid. The 20-20 first period, the 19-24 second. It's only 16-14 here in the third.
Well, if you're a coach, you want to see the opposition's numbers go down period on period. So if you're Coach Keba, you're more happy with those quarter scores than Coach Juarez.
Shot clock down to 4 now, backing in. Bosniakovic, he's made one of these shots already, that time over everything. Telegraphed though by Diane, who salvages it with 0.3 on the shot clock, getting fouled.
Well, Bosniakovic is trying to draw the foul there. Good defense by Diakite, sorry. And then an air ball flops into the hands. That's good position by Diane. Window won't be happy with having committed the foul. But what he'll be banking on is that Ismaila Diane stays ice cold at the free throw line.
Diane only 3 of 8 so far. Missed his last 2. They know, watching on, that each and every point could be the decisive one. It has been that tight throughout. Now only 4 of 10. So for the gap, shot clock turned off, end of the third. Inset possession with plenty of time. Traore. He'll control the ball, orchestrate the offense, manage the clock. 7 to shoot. Nolan Traore. Windu rolls away. It goes the other way. Sulak onto the stripe. Great look. Diakite short on the shot though.
Well, that's a tight way to finish the period. Solid defense, which has been the recipe throughout this one. 4-point lead for Paris. Madrid have cut it by 1. I think the challenge from Paris is to stay in front the rest of the way.
Real Madrid 56, inset Paris 60 at the end of 3. Scoring usually tight in a championship game situation with nerves trembling. It was a high-scoring first half, but a low-scoring third quarter edged 16-14 by Real Madrid. As Martin's just said, Shape 1 off the halftime deficit. And Bosniakovic on the turnaround, tough shot. Many of them tough buckets now. A couple of threes going down, including from Asia Miguel, but his opposite number, Mbungolo Muronga, responding. (56-60) at the end of 3. 52% two-point shooting for Insep. They have the edge in that department. Real Madrid a slight edge in terms of three-point shooting. Look at the free throw percentages though. Real Madrid getting there on a regular basis, but only shooting 64%, with Diana 4 of 10. They've committed 3 extra turnovers in the game. And Insep are doing better in terms of controlling the board just about at the moment. How much has Hugo Gonzalez got left in the tank? How long can Nolan Traore survive now? A huge part of the equation that he didn't pick up a 4th foul.
Well, at this point in time, Tim, it will be the small things that make the difference. These teams are going to both be very tired. Adrenaline is carrying them. And this is where coaching becomes as important as the players.
Bosniakovic travels.
Yeah, he loses balance there. Gets the angle on Traore. But then great help defense from Soliman. This is where the teaching. The players have been taught throughout the season, throughout their careers, what to do, and they're almost working on muscle memory.
Coaching will have an impact down the final stretch as well. Two talented junior level coaches. Javier Juarez even at senior level in his career as well. Gonzalez comes away with it. Faced by Diakite. Traore couldn't quite intercept Bosniakovic.
Madrid are going to have to go to the hands of Gonzalez. I appreciate him trying to set things up, but he's going to have to go to work.
He's up against Traore. Maybe looking to force that fourth foul. Traore didn't foul. Instead forced the missed shot. But Bosniakovic bullish on the board, and he plays with a real tenacity.
Well, yeah, Bosniakovic, we've already said, he's a force of nature on the basketball court. But this time, crunch time now, it's going to be the stars have to come out. Gonzalez for Madrid. Traore for Paris. Yes, you're going to look and try and run some offensive sets, but you've got to have people that are prepared to take the workload at this time of the game.
Bosniakovic up to 8 points. The majority of them have come in the second half. One more free throw to come. Seven of his 9 coming in this half.
Well, as I said, Paris have to keep in front. I don't think either team have got a series of runs.
He's there on defense, Bosniakovic to deflect as well, and ultimately they force the turnover, celebrated by the whole Real Madrid team on the bench as well.
Well, that was fortuitous for Madrid. They've been outstanding with their defense throughout the game. They've just been making right decisions most times, and Paris have elevated to defeat them. And that time there, Sulak, an uncharacteristic error from him.
They've trailed by 7. That was the largest deficit for either team in the game. That's how close it's been. Real Madrid could get back level or take the lead here. Miche looking to dance with the defense.
Again.
And Boulefard was not up for a bit of dancing. Instead, he was up for a bit of stopping and scoring.
The ball has to be in the hands of the right players. Miche is in there to spell somebody else, to work defensively.
So inset by 4. Traore going right to the basket, backed up by Boulefard. Inset looking to hold off that big Real Madrid rally.
Well, Boulefard, he's one of those, a bit like Demin. He doesn't do anything spectacularly. You just all of a sudden you look up and you see suddenly he's played for most of the game and he's got 17 points.
Gonzalez. The center Gay rolls in. Gonzalez over the top of Sulak, too long.
Got to get to the basket now. Again, this is, I'm not going to tell you to tell a young kid how to play the game or a young man how to play the game. Your 4th game in 4 days. The defense is tired. Your legs aren't as strong as they are at the beginning of practice. Get to the basket and draw free throws, draw fouls.
Devin to inbound. Gonzalez this time does try and get to the basket against Boulefard, who challenges well.
You'll take it. Great defense. Jonas Boulevard just played great defense there.
And the outside shot off. Big rebound, Demin trapped on his baseline. Inset retreats. We talked about the shooting of Boulefard. He's an excellent 2-way forward as well. Averages 1.7 steals a game. He's been that X factor, perhaps, Martin, you talked about in this game for Inset.
You see Gonzalez talking to himself there. You know, this is when he's got the mind of a champion. He got hesitant there. He's trying to get Bosniakovic, who's been well defended over there on the wing by that man Boulafar. Gonzalez is going to have to take over. They don't have a classic point guard out there. Demin is not going to penetrate and dish. Gonzalez got to make it happen, especially with a smaller man on him.
Boulafar now level with Gonzalez for the top PIR in the game. Demin, three-point shot, off right. Offensive rebound, Gueye.
Outstanding by Gueye.
Pings out the pass, shot clock down to 5. Demin had to be picked up down off the deck, and it was a flat shot from Miguel.
Well, you see there, doesn't look like it outwardly, but the fatigue starting to kick in, the little mental errors, the flat shot from Asier Miguel. Then sticking your hand in to try and poke the ball free. Once you get about 5 minutes, the coaches will start to stop caring about foul trouble. And we'll start to see them unleash the likes of Duru. Madrid can get more athletic on the floor with him.
Traore fouled.
Well, he looks up and you'll see that's the first foul in the fourth period for Madrid. That will be an asset for them, because what they want to do is they want to really start weighing in on Nolan now.
He'd averaged 27 points a game coming into this championship game. Inset producing this performance with just 10 points from Nolan Traore so far. They've got 4 scorers in double figures, a real team effort. They lead Real Madrid still inside the final 7 minutes.
Yeah, but the same for Paris as well. They've held down Gonzalez and Demin in this second half.
And here they come, looking to run and gun, and Demin will dart straight to the bucket.
The team defense, and then let your stars take over on offense. That's what Madrid needs to do to win this. And as I said, Paris have to stay in front. Madrid, I feel if they break this one open, it will be if they get ahead.
A 22-6-6 game now for Demin. Solimon in the corner for the 3. Misses. Rebound Sulak. Traore, inset by 2. Traore, look at the pace, the slice and the dice, but not the score as he was met at the rim.
Well, Demin gets credit for a block shot there. That is a superhuman play. For all the world, that looked like that was going to be points for Paris.
Demin is playing out of his skin right now, and here he goes on the offensive end, down the left.
Well, he lost
Weak on the
balance there.
layup.
Well, it's the classic cuff play we see players doing all the time now.
He's got 22 points, 6 assists, 7 rebounds, a steal, and 2 blocks now. Igor Demin.
Well, you can see why Paris are asking for that to be an offensive, defensive goaltending.
Tough call in a tight game. They lead by 2. Approaching the midway point of the final period. Traore kicks it out of a pack of players to Suleiman, completely free, misses back-to-back threes.
Wow.
Ripped down by Demin, his 8th rebound now.
That is a... Again, don't forget how tired these players have got to be now. Don't tell them that. They're not going to be in timeouts and coaches saying, don't worry, you're not tired. But it's just a statement of fact.
Bosniakovic will show Solimon how it's done, and Real Madrid lead from 7 down.
Paris have to respond now. This isn't one they can wait for a timeout. They have to respond right away. They've gone cold, stone cold here in the fourth period. Only 2 points so far.
Can Inset get back ahead? Final 5 minutes of the final. Yimga Makori, it's a travel.
Wow.
And the celebration on the Real Madrid bench.
Yeah,
They are turning up the temperature and turning the screw.
Coach Kebe needs to think about whether he wants to use a timeout here. He's been able to ride his defense so far. But what a time for Real Madrid to heat it up from deep. Gonzalez making the decision. It's okay to pass the ball for somebody to shoot, but he's got to make that decision. That is championship performance.
A 7-2 fourth period for Real Madrid. Off balance, wouldn't go down for Demin, but he'll go to the line instead.
Well, I think if that's Traore, what was it? Boulafar.
It's Traore.
No, it's Traore, wow. As I said, Look, and of course, I get to question coaches because I'm a commentator, not a coach. But after they got that travel, then Coach Kebe could have called timeout because he just felt that with the experience that Real Madrid has, you've got to give your team the composure that they need to bring this one home.
It felt like that was the moment when Madrid's momentum hit the next level. Demin is having a performance to remember. It'll be his last ANGT game. 24 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 blocks, 1 steal. Real Madrid by 3, having trailed by 7. A 10-point swing in a tight game, 4.5 to play. Diakite on the turn. He's not their shooter, but he gets some love from the iron.
4.5 minutes to play, Tim, and I'm getting goose flesh. This is like this game is going to the wire.
That's his first score of the game on his 4th attempt as Deming goes right back to it.
Yeah, Igor Demin just responds in the what they call an offensive foul. Wow, I didn't see that one.
That's a break for Inset.
Well, it's going to have to be somebody who steps up now for Paris. Diakite gets the roll on the jump shot. Madrid with the bit between their teeth.
Traoré to the corner again. Sulak steps in for the long 2. 2 short. Offensive rebound. Boulefard really has been their X factor. Traoré.
And 1.
Got it for a chance of a 3-point play for the lead again, and Inset are not backing down.
Well, I tell you, as long as you've got Nolan Traoré out there, you've got the opportunity to get good things to happen. But if you're Madrid, you cannot allow him to be the finisher. You've got to make him be a passer. Bosniakovic makes a good defensive effort there. But Traoré, we know he has the potential to explode for 10, 12 points. So if you're Madrid, you keep the ball out of his hands, and when he gets it, you even consider double teaming him.
How tight, how tense, how important is this? The title hanging in the balance. 7 has been the largest lead for either team in the game. Inset by 2, Real Madrid by 1. The best on the junior stage trading blows. Bosniakovic from downtown again, the man with the big second half and the big shot with the big pressure on.
Well, how about this for pressure on Asier Miguel and Sidi Gueye trying to guard Nolan Traoré? I'll tell you, I would not be a coach. They've got to have some confidence in these young men. The huge bucket by Bosniakovic, and I told you in the big games he's going to step up. So they've got the confidence. They know he can deliver this, but then at the other end, you've got to find a way to get the ball out of Traoré's hands. Neither team have got fouls to give. Just a couple of minutes ago, Madrid hadn't committed a foul in the 4th period.
Madrid have scored 12 points in this period. Bosniakovic has 8 of them. They lead by 1. Final 3 minutes. It's Boulefard. A long, long way off, especially by his standards.
Well, throw the stats out now. Let's not think about this. Is 3-minute basketball game.
Demin. Real Madrid running their offense, going through multiple hands. Bosniakovic facing Nolan Traoré nose to nose. Heat check shot from him, salvaged on the baseline, but only back into Inset hands. Traoré, 3-on-3, fast break. Yinka Makori forced to put the brakes on by Gonzalez and threw it into the hands of the retreating Demin.
What a time to get that steal.
The defense from those 2 players, Gonzalez and Demin, 6 steals combined, 3 blocks combined. Demin a double-double now. Side skip, 3-point shot, Asier Miguel. They've got to get the shot away here, and it's away in time, not accurately. Inset ball, final 2 minutes.
I think they've called that one on Dian on the rebound.
So that's free throws.
The hustle from Bosniakovic, he's trying to get the foul, but I think then Dian's been called for a shove. Indeed, that looks like the number 4.
Well, that's only the 4th foul. No, they're
A little bit of
walking up.
confusion here. They have called that Ismaila Diane.
It is the 5th on Real Madrid, so free throws. The foul on the offensive rebound attempt is a defensive foul. So inset to the line for 2.
And you take Boulafard at the line. He's missed one already today, but as a team, they're 12 of 15.
He's been their leading player today. 18 points, 8 rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds, 2 steals and 2 blocks.
And you know
Talking
what,
from the
Tim?
start about the Real Madrid players, that's almost under the radar from Boulafard.
Sometimes you have a game and you just truly do not want a team to lose.
Diakite offensive rebound, but swiped away above his head by Demin.
How many steals has he got now? 3 steals.
3 for him, 4 for Gonzalez. 68-68 lock level. Just over 100 seconds to decide who lifts the trophy. Unless, of course, we go to overtime. Gonzalez lost it on the dribble, picked it up, got it away. Tough shot into the shot clock. Offensive rebound, back out in a fresh 14.
I think it's Demin is probably the better one-on-one attacker.
Swivels looks to show it and puts it in as he fails and falls down to the deck, hitting a huge shot for Real Madrid.
Thank you, Igor Demin. I called your number and he came up. Gonzalez is more of a finisher in transition. In that half-court set, you've got to go to Demin. 26 points. No question he's the hot hand.
Again, he's not their biggest offensive talent. He's backed up with the rebound from Yimga Makori, though. But Inset not getting the right shooter for their shots right now. Real Madrid certainly are, as Demin hits 26 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals and 2 blocks, and gets his bench up on their feet.
Remember we said in the first half, no pressure on any shooting percentage except this one. You have to feel free throws could determine the outcome. And you said the overtime word. I think neither team deserves to lose. I didn't say they want to go to overtime.
He's had his toughest performance of these finals, but he makes his first 2 free throws of the championship game to get us level into the final minute. 70-70.
Now, how's about this for an appetizer ahead of the Turkish Airlines Euroleague final tonight?
Bosniakovic couldn't put it in on the reverse. Beats the hardwood in frustration, lying flat on his back on the baseline. Has to quickly pick himself back up for defense.
He tries to go for a reverse layup there. You're not going to get the foul on that play.
Any basket now could be the championship winner. Ball in the hands of Nolan Traore. Lost the handle, recovered, footwork, crossover, trigger pulled, missed, offensive rebound, Yimga Makori, and the surely not shot that might just win the championship for Inset for the first time in 7 years.
They've called the and one. How's about that? Madrid rock solid rebounding all game, but on that jump shot, they've got 4 players under the basket, no one in the middle of the paint. And Yimga Makori just in the right place at the right time, and they get the and one. Is that the play that sends the crown back to Paris?
The 15-year-old with the best moment of his fledgling career so far. And he said he'd had his toughest game of these finals, but 4 points in the final minute and change of it. 2
if he
free
makes
throws.
this free throw, Paris are going to foul. That's why they've taken Traore out. They're not going to let Madrid have an open 3-point look, that's for sure.
Now
here's the timeout.
26.1 to play, a 2-second differential between shot clock and game clock at the end of the championship game. Timeout Javier Juarez, as Real Madrid look to protect their crown.
Igual nos hacen falta. Si los que están muy encima. Vamos a jugar especial. ¿A qué lado prefieres salir, Hugo? Para tirar. De aquí a aquí. Vale. Sacamos allí. ¿vale? Declan. No, está bien así como vamos. Ey. Jugamos. Volvemos para Hugo. Saca Sier. Especial. Si hay triple, triple. Si no, para adentro y elegimos a quién falta. Vamos que la vamos a meter y mata. 1, 2, 3.
INSEP Paris are within sight of the gold. Almost like they have one hand on that trophy.
This game situation here, both teams will have worked almost exactly in practice. 26 seconds left, 14-second shot clock, down by 3 or up by 3. So this isn't a new situation for them. And it's going to be something as freaky as what's just happened at the other end that will decide this.
Ball advancing to the front court, so a larger differential now. Bosniakovic, three-point shot for the tie. It's good on the roll around from Gonzalez. Last season's rising star looking to steal the spotlight here in the 2024 championship game.
How do you talk about that one, Tim? That is clutch. That's a star of the future, not in the making. He is made. That is guts on a plate.
The brightest star here in Berlin this afternoon.
But I'll say this, Paris have got a star of their own that I think will be set to respond. But the beauty of that play is it wasn't, Coach Juarez didn't say, see if you got the look. He wanted to get that inside the shot clock because he wants another chance. If Paris score, he wants the last shot of the game.
73-73, 20 seconds to play in the championship game. On the three-point play of Ugat, Yimga and McCory, Paris has snatched the crown off their heads of Real Madrid. Hugo Gonzalez claws it back. And now they might have to fight over it in overtime unless somebody can take the spotlight off him.
Would you stop saying overtime? My heart can't take overtime. This one needs to be decided in 40 minutes. These guys here have given us everything. It'd be cruel to make them play 5 minutes more.
Well, inbound in the backcourt, so the shot clock turned off. 20 seconds to play.
Smart play there by Coach Kebe. He saw Coach Juarez's pair of aces and he raised him a pair of triple kings.
This is your game now. This is your championship game now. Nolan Traore, record breaker yesterday. Will he be title winner today?
Really
5 to shoot.
the ball up.
Traore gets towards the lane. Tough shot, can't put it in. And we are indeed heading to overtime in the ANGT championship game.
Well, you said it enough. You teased fate. We had to have overtime. Now the question is how many. I said neither team deserved to lose. But, wow, whoever wins this is going to be the worthy champion of the ANGT. And I know you're going to tell me how many times the final has been to overtime. But that was a critical end. I was wondering if they were going to try and do pick and roll between Traore and Boulafar. Either way, 73 points apiece. We are going to an extra period.
What a blockbuster finish. Now about 5 more minutes to decide who gets their hands on that trophy. 73-73 at the end of regulation. Better shooting on the inside for the French, better shooting on the outside, including that game-tying triple from Gonzalez for Real Madrid. Turnovers level, rebounds level. It has been touch tight throughout the 40 minutes. They will need overtime to decide it. No lead larger than 7 for INSEP. no lead larger than 6 for Madrid. These are 2 of the 6 institutions to have won multiple championships in the 2-decade history of this event. Will it be Real Madrid's 5th or INSEP's 3rd come the end of overtime? Traore missed the chance to win it at the end of the 4th. Yimka Makori perhaps thought he'd won it with the 3-point play.
Well, for all that I'm complaining about overtime, in a way, it's justified. It's almost like having an encore in a fabulous music environment, which we are in the Uber Music Hall. So maybe there's justification for this, but now is it experience? Neither one of these teams will be pushed, have been to overtime in this environment before, that's for sure.
Traore as INSEP start with the ball in the extra period. Gets it back from Boulefard. Traore, the floater, makes amends for the miss at the end of the 4th by getting right back at it in OT.
Well, after the excitement of the final 26 seconds of the 4th period, a regulation basket is almost boring.
Traore still playing on 4 fouls. That's his Diakite. For INSEP, 3-point shot off left and too long from Demin. Diakite playing on 4 fouls, rips it away and races away.
I like that
the brakes off
from Diakite when he gets the rebound. Keep pushing it. Be aggressive. Don't try to run the clock out now.
A 2-possession lead for INSEP would feel significant in
Indeed
overtime.
It would. I think it would be massive for either team. A 2-possession lead could, I think, would be transformational. And credit to Paris. I felt that they'd worked so hard to get the lead and to keep it, that if they gave it up, that they would be done. But they battled back. Overtime, I think, favors them more than Madrid.
Buries his head in his jersey. Sidi Gueye, the 16-year-old, he is done.
Well, he can't complain. He's played an outstanding game. Those offensive rebounds keeping his team alive, and there's no question that was a foul. And interesting that Coach Juarez is going with the athletic lineup. He brings Duro in instead of Diane.
That's where for Real Madrid, 4 fouls for Miguel, 4 for Diane. Gueye now fouled out.
Madrid do not need to be wedded to the 3-point line. Attack the basket. That's where you will have the most success.
So still only a 1-possession game. At 3 points for INSEP, shot short, well challenged. Gonzalez, a hard fall. And now short-handed on defense, although putting the brakes on this fall behind the charge of Traore. As he looked back out, Diakite.
Momentum on a basketball court is a powerful force, Tim. Suddenly, Madrid look a little bit tired. I think that's Demin has got him from behind.
There's been 20 previous editions of the ADIDAS Next Generation tournament. I've been told there's not been an overtime game, at least in the last 15 years. I'm not sure before that.
Regardless of if that's been true before, this is a game that will go down as one for the ages. Long will live in the memories of basketball fans of the ANGT.
Real Madrid won by 11, 71-60 last year against the Next Gen Select team. They've won 3 of the last 4 championships. The record champions, can INSEP take it off them? So close to a turnover. Save far side. Still time on the shot clock. Bosniakovic, huge if it goes, and it does, to get Real Madrid back within a whisker.
Well, that was just free-flowing basketball at its finest. The defense from Paris was suffocating. Bosniakovic is huge, and there's Gonzalez with another steal.
Up against Traore, just powers him out of the way through the paint. He has been a menace for Madrid at both ends of the floor. Steal number 5 And up to 23 points.
And you can see the fatigue. Paris thought they had this game in the bag. It ended up being 3-on-1 for Madrid.
They've come back from 4 down to 1 ahead. Now it's Traore's turn. He's off. Boulefard rips down his 6th offensive rebound of the game.
Wow, Gonzalez with the steals. Boulefard with offensive rebounds.
Traore in between two. Too fast for everybody. Couldn't hit his shot again, though, but an offensive rebound
now.
once more.
Well, now a chance for Traore to have a calm head. And at the 3rd time of asking, they've called a foul. If that's Gonzalez, that will be his 4th. Or is it Duru? It will be his 4th. They've called it Gonzalez. Where? You tell me where the foul is in that. Wow, okay. They say a foul is a foul, whether it's in the 1st minute or the 41st minute. I'm not certain of that one. We're not going to criticize the officials, but Hugo Gonzalez does not expect that. Oh, and he's being left hanging by the referee. Oh, thank goodness for that. I know how painful that is, being left hanging by somebody in high profile. And we talked about those free throw percentages.
And Traore's had a few misses from the field in overtime. After starting the extra period with a score. Keeps his composure to make both, significantly so from the stripe, to orchestrate the 11th lead change of the championship game.
Oh, Coach Juarez, gutsy play there, sitting down Gonzalez with 4 fouls. Your main offensive weapon on the bench. Whose number is he going to call now?
Backing in, going to work as the other player on 4 fouls, Diane. And how about the 12th lead change?
Well, who would have called his number? That's just his 4th shot attempt of the game.
Only made 1 of his previous 3 and only made 4 of his 10 free throw attempts.
Well, that's the whole point. Would you put the ball in his hands? Because if I'm Paris, I just foul him.
Traore into the land of the Giants and denied, but backed up on the boards once more by Boulefard, who gets the championship game circus shot overhead and has produced magic tonight.
Well, we've seen it all now. A no-look over-the-head layup.
Boulefard challenging.
And then he blocks the shot at the other end.
20 points, 12 rebounds, 8 offensive rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks. This is Boulefard's stage now. Shot clock to 4. Traore off to Boulefard. Traore.
That's the game.
Raised the wrong side of the rim.
Well, if you're Madrid, what do you do now? You've got Gonzalez sitting down with 4 fouls. Surely not going to go back to Diane in a low post. Is it Demon's going to try and go?
Demon towards Diane. He was the decoy. Outside shot short. Followed from Mr. Hustle, Declan Duru, who shows his muscle as he absorbs the contact and converts.
Wow. I thought that was huge guts from Miguel to take the shot to begin with. And then Diakite picks his 5th foul up, so he's done. And Declan Duru, who we've been singing his praises the whole tournament, shows how's about that. And then Jonas Boulefard, no look over the head. That's the way you used to play, Tim.
We haven't just witnessed the best game, the most significant game of this competition of this season, but some of the best plays have come late on as well.
Well, this is arguably,
play.
I would defy someone to tell me this is not the best single game in ANGT history.
Real Madrid are made of championship-winning material. Can Insep take it off them? Down 2.
For the win.
Get the shot away from the corner, and it's good. A firework from the French. as they launch their celebrations again. But there's still 18 seconds to play as they take the lead over defending champions Real Madrid, with Jonas Boulefard having the game of his life so early in his career.
How many drop the mic moments have we had in this game? I was just about to say, before it actually happened, I said Traore, penetrate and kick. Boulefard's the one you want to be open, and sure enough, the best shooter in the tournament is left butt naked for a wide open three.
He's got 23 points. We've talked about his impact on the defensive end and on the boards as well. He wants that spotlight.
Vamos a jugar ahora últimos, ¿vale? Aquí vamos a sacar Hugo, a Ismaila, Ismail ahí, Declan, a Hugo, un buen bloqueo. Egon, quiero jugar con Hugo, ¿de acuerdo? Declan, este bloqueo a mitad. Hugo, si ahí pasa a la esquina, a él o la mete.
And they didn't just go for the 2 for the tie, they went for the 3 for the win.
They took what was open. Traore, who always knew he was going to end up on two players on him. When Sulak caught the ball, if you're Madrid, you've got to close out, make him beat you one-on-one. But instead, they went out and challenged and left the best shooter in the gym open in the corner. Interesting in that timeout. Coach Juarez has called 2 high screens. He's going to have Dian up top. They're going to screen down for Gonzalez, and then he's going to go to a 2-man game. There's the
Madrid
first
hit a
screen
game
down.
winner. Gonzalez, Inset felt they had it twice. Gonzalez on the turn, tip won't go. Rebound wrestled down, and to the line go Real Madrid, but with a player who's 4 of 10 so far.
Well, that is just tough basketball from both teams. Well, if there's any justice in the world, he's going to make 1 from 2, and we'll go to overtime again.
He's missed his last 4 in a row. Ismaila Dian. Making them when it matters the most.
The Shaquille O'Neal theory of basketball. I make free throws when they count. There's pressure here, though.
This one to nudge Real Madrid back ahead. 12 seconds of overtime remaining. And he makes his first pair of the game.
That was never in doubt. He's walking to his bench like, what's my name? That is gutsy. But well, you know, there's 12 seconds is a lifetime in this game.
His first 3 trips to the line, he split the pair. His next 2 trips, he missed all of them. In overtime, with 11.9 to play, he makes both, and Real Madrid lead by 1.
Alice, voilà. Là, regarde, éventuellement. Là, si c'est coupé, on ouvre. Une fois qu'on a rentré la balle, on va au pick and roll classique. Et classique. On regarde, vu qu'ils vont être à 2 sur Nolan, là le flair, voilà, peut-être le serre, peut-être ça, ou surtout, attends, pause, ouvre. Parce que s'ils sont à 2, ils sont à 2. Comment? C'est Thalys, pardon. Thalys, ouvre. Et là, je parle dans l'autre sens. Regardez là, regardez là. Allez. Allez, go.
How many times have we felt we've had a winner? Vasilije Micic is waiting in the wings to present the MVP award, I believe, to somebody. Who's it going to be?
Well, I would not make a prediction at this point.
Terminal Gonzalez for Madrid, Boulefard for Inset.
Well, does Paris hold for the... Did they clear out the whole 12 seconds, or they just go?
Let's see, Sulak to inbound.
You know Traore's coming to get the ball.
Missed one at the end of regulation, Traore, that would have won it.
Well, this is going to be, we talked about the head-to-head before the game. We said Jemin's got to have to hold Traore. We're going to find out if that is going to happen, because it's going to be those 2 one-on-one. Here he comes.
To Traore. Traore behind the back. Demin, such a lengthy defender against him. He'll dribble it out now towards the final 5 seconds. Lost their handle on it. Nerves, fatigue, heave for the win. Off the mark. And the kings of the continent will not be dethroned. Real Madrid, basketball royalty at senior and junior level. They wear the crown again for the 4th time in 5 ANGT tournament seasons.
Well, Tim, we say winning the crown is difficult. Defending the crown is almost impossible. And if ever there's a game that no team deserved to lose, we have to credit Madrid. They have taken the ANGT crown. That is what this game means.
Sat down to our left on our commentary table, Ismaila Diane is in tears with his head buried in his jersey, having played such a tough game in terms of his shooting.
Think about it,
4
Tim.
of 10 at the line before making the 2 free throws to win the championship.
He just missed all those free throws, and then he makes the 2 to win the game. That's the emotion. That these players now, both teams, 24 players, are now exhausted. Adrenaline will go away, and suddenly they're going to realize, oh my word, I've just played 4 games in 4 days, and I've just made 2 free throws to win the championship, having missed 6 out of 10.
Real Madrid go back-to-back for the 2nd time in the last 5 editions of this competition. Javier Juarez leading them to the last 2 championships, last year and this. And all of that hard work, Ismaila Diane, he's the hero in the end. We talked about, would it be Demin, would it be Gonzalez, would it be Boulefard for the French? Would it be Yinga Makori at the end of regulation? Instead, it was the centre, Ismaila Diane, with a pair of free throws, having been at 40% from the strike before the 1 to tie and the 1 to win in the final 12 seconds of overtime, as Real Madrid take it 85-84 after OT.
Well, those are the biggest free throws in Ismaila's young career. But how about the defensive job done there by Igor Demin to force Nolan Traore from a 45-degree 2-point bank shot almost back outside the coach's box for a fadeaway desperation heave. Credit the defense, but you know, that is just why this stadium is packed right now. This is the ADIDAS next generation, and the next generation have shown that we are set fair for the world of basketball.
Look what it means to the coaching staff, the players, their friends, their family. A season's hard work that ends with silverware. And then you have to spare a thought for Inset Paris, who poured it all in and felt they'd won it on a couple of occasions.
And how do you choose?
Let's get some reaction from the Real Madrid head coach. Here's Javier Juarez with David Hine. We'll go to that reaction in just a moment. We're just being told Javier Juarez is getting ready. Let's go to the title-winning coach of Real Madrid.
Coach, amazing game. Just your thoughts.
I said my players yesterday that maybe we need to change their flights because I'm sure that we come back with the tournament. But knowing the other team, I know that it's a long game, but we believe always this is Real Madrid. I have a very good friend that tell me that Real Madrid is a father in Europe. Today start, this afternoon, 2nd time, and next Saturday in London, 3rd time, I'm sure.
What makes this organization so great? What makes this organization so great?
Man, it's history. It's culture. It's when you inside there, you know what's happening when you inside in this club. Every people start to work for youngers when arrive with 12 years, for every player, every coach, understand what is signature of Real Madrid. Fight to the end, never say this is enough, and today is very good example.
What's the thing that you remember most about this tournament? What will you remember most?
It's very difficult to forget many things because I stayed 2 years with these guys and make me win 2 tournaments. Many things, but I think that the game against Mega is amazing for us because 5 win a bad game in offense, but we know that we can win with offense, but 2 with defense in a dirty and a close game, and honestly, we can win in a game like today too.
Go enjoy the celebrations. Congratulations.
Well, winning is in their DNA. The record 5-time ANGT champions. Spare a thought for Lamine Kebe, who did all he could with his Inset Paris team as they fall in their first final in 7 years.
Well, you look at the numbers here, and the stats almost do not tell the story because the biggest number is the 2 free throws at the end of the game. Madrid left 8 on the floor. Everything else is just about even Stevens. The 3-point shooting at Madrid at crunch time, but something that Coach Juarez just said, this tournament was win. His team were ready to win this championship after that game against Mega. When neither team can score, they believed entirely in their defense, and that's what took them home in the end. Demin stopping Traore as a team. They finally got the recipe for success, and as he said, the father of Europe. That's some statement, and we're looking ahead to the Champions League football final.
Well, let's take a look back at that final possession, Martin. Nolan Traore forced to take it from deep because of the defense.
But he started the ball on the other side of the court in a comfortable 2-point range. But the defense, Demin was all over him. You see, that's why they're grabbing Demin, because he's just guarded the best offensive player in the tournament for just 12 seconds, but that's the hardest 12 seconds of his career.
And that was the head-to-head we highlighted for you before the game. Demin versus Traore. And it's Demin who comes out on top. 3 steals, 2 blocks on the defensive end, and that stop, as well as 26 points, 6 assists, 11 rebounds, 3 offensive rebounds. Hugo Gonzalez just as impactful in the final. And 2 players playing their last ever ANGT game who will bow out as back-to-back champions.
And while we will celebrate the championship for Madrid, we spare a moment for this Paris team because they have been remarkable. And they were outstanding throughout the tournament. Everybody was singing loud and proud about how good these Americans were going to be. But instead, they put overtime elite to the sword. And there you see, that's a true, if ever there was an obvious rising star, it's this young man here.
Saved his best performance for the championship game. That's on Soliman, who only turned 15 last week.
Well, how good is this Paris team going to be next year? They've got 5 players age 15, a couple of 16-year-olds. There's maybe 1 or 2 players. Traore will leave because he is so good. He's obviously turning full-time professional. They'll be back.
We talked about that in the build-up as well. Real Madrid with several stars at the end of their ANGT careers and the start of their professional careers. Igor Demin, one of them. Inset with a young team, the majority of whom can still play for a couple of years at this level. Presenting the all-tournament team now, Kasparas Yakuchonis, who broke the ANGT all-time record for assists, doing so with 17 at these finals on game day 1. Perhaps the best out-and-out point guards at this tournament.
Well, you know, we've seen some outstanding players in these last days. Yakuchonis, we're going to see him for many years to come. And again, it's great to see that Parker Robinson has made the all-tournament team from overtime elite. You know, there's a lot of hype. Everybody's focused in on the Americans who've come to town, but they were just a select team. They've barely been together. They've had about 4 practices, and they really showed that they were outstanding when they took down Barcelona.
What a scorer he was, 20.7 points per game, shot 64 from 2, 59 from 3, 82 at the line.
Well, Jack Cahill, another one, was only with his team. And you heard Coach Juarez talking about Mega. He gave Real Madrid all they could handle. This young man here just won the German domestic league with his club, joined Mega, and took them within a whisker of upsetting Madrid. And we'd have definitely had a different champion if he'd been able to close that one out.
Nolan Traore, another record breaker with his ANGT finals record, 45 points yesterday.
But he's heartbroken right now, Tim, but trust me, the way the press, social media will reflect on this, that is a simply outstanding performer. And there's no surprise that this young man, it's amazing we just get one player from 5 different teams. You could almost have all of Paris and all of Real Madrid on the all-tournament team. But for Madrid, of course, they get to take home a little thing called the trophy.
Hugo Gonzalez, 23 points, 6 assists, 5 steals and a block in the final, playing over 40 minutes. And at your ADIDAS Next Generation Tournament, all first team 2024. We have the presentation of the MVP award as well. And of course, the ANGT trophy.
Well, that's a fine group of players there. Do you know what, though? I think I could take them on because there's not a rebounder amongst them. Again, it's the point guards club. No, the worthy selections, one and all.
Hard for Nolan Traore to be in there, considering what's just transpired. He felt he was going to help to lead INSEP to a championship. The individual honour does little to make him feel any better. Vasilije Micic, former Euroleague MVP, Final Four MVP with Anadolu Efes, will present the MVP awards at the ADIDAS Next Generation Tournament.
Well, is there ever anything in doubt? With that bucket he hit at the end of regulation to give us overtime, will live long in the memory. And what a performer he has been all week. The ultimate team player as well. His distribution. 6 assists as well. He is
MVP. And back-to-back championships. On his final appearance at the ANGT, Hugo Gonzalez.
Well, we've been seeing this for many a year in the ANGT and the Turkish Airlines Euroleague. Real Madrid finishing top of the pile, although this time they truly had to scrap for it.
Surely the tightest and most dramatic championship game in the 21-year history of this event. But once more, it's Real Madrid.
Well, from down 5 points at halftime, it looked like they were never going to get their nose in front. And then they looked like they were down and out with 20 seconds left in the game, fourth quarter. And somehow, Coach Juarez says it's just been the fathers of Europe. Real Madrid once again end up with the crown.
We already had all of the drama at the end of the fourth quarter, including a couple of huge shots. And I've just counted 8 lead changes in the last 3.5 minutes of overtime. So many big moments. Boulefard put INSEP ahead with 1.5 minutes to play. Declan Duru had that huge hustle play and put Real Madrid back up with 34 seconds to play. Boulefard came back with 18 seconds to play and hit a 3 to give INSEP the 1-point lead. And then the 2 free throws from Ismaila Dian with 12 seconds to play. The miss at the buzzer from distance from Traore. And Real Madrid, the champions, for a 5th time.
But he almost needed to miss those 6 free throws to set up the tension to have those 2 at the end. And when I have to tell you, when Boulefard made the no-look over-the-head flop layup after getting 2 block shots against him, I thought it was done. I thought Paris were there and home because surely the basketball gods were on their side. But somehow, This team dug deep, and again, we have to credit Coach Juarez. He said his team learned so much in that defeat to Mega Miss Belgrade, but he had trust and faith in all of his squad. Sat Gonzalez down with 4 fouls. That's something, at the end of the game, you would never think you'd be able to do. And as he said, he's had these young men for 2 years, and they've given him 2 titles. What more can a coach ask for?
It was a box office championship game with a blockbuster finish. As if at one point it was written in the script for Jonas Boulefard to be the hero. But then the ultimate twist of the tale with 2 free throws for Ismaila Dian and Real Madrid. They're getting ready to hoist the trophy high into the air here at the Uber Eats Music Hall.
Well, I'll tell you, Coach Juarez, okay, he had the assets, the tools to work with, but he marshaled his troops to perfection. And you have to say, on balance, of course I'm slightly biased. I had the Group A teams, you had the Group B teams. And we talked about this over dinner last night, and I said Madrid, if they play to the standard they've played all week, they should take it, but I didn't think it was going to be that tight.
In 2015, when they won their first title, it was Luka Doncic, the tournament MVP. In 2019, Usman Garuba, a key part of the side. In 2021, Elian Jai, Sedi Garuba. Last year, Jan Vida, the MVP. This year, Hugo Gonzalez and Igor Demin, the standouts. Real Madrid will not stop on the junior stage. Maybe the senior stage as well.
What a story that would be, Tim. Back-to-back champions of the 18 and under tournament.
Out, milking his moment with the trophy. They all will. Time to find out your player of the game. Hugo Gonzalez into the all-tournament team, the tournament MVP, and one of 2 true contenders for player of the game honors in the final. He takes that crown as well. 23 points, 6 assists, 5 steals, and a block for Hugo Gonzalez.
Hugo Gonzalez, 2-time champion. Talk about your thoughts right now.
My only thought right now is that we made history, actually. We're at the club now with more ANGTs on the whole world. This tournament was one of the toughest ones. They have never played any team. For sure, they got Barca, they got Paris that did an incredible game, but actually what matters is what the result is telling to us. And it told us that we have heart for playing till the end, even though we are down 10 or maybe down 8, down 7, to come up. If they punch on us, come up, and then come back to the game and finally win it.
This game was amazing for us to watch. What was it like for you to play in?
I mean, it was incredible. A lot of emotions mixed. But actually, the only thought that I had on the game, it was like, we can't lose this. We're fighting, and it's impossible we fight for nothing. I think that the whole team did an incredible job believing in our job from the whole year, even though we had some losses at the year. But I think that the only thought for everyone is that we achieved the goal that we had since the first day of the year.
What's it mean for you to go out as a champion this your last game in the juniors, also with guys like Mitar and Igor and Ismalia? What's it mean for you guys to go out as champions?
I mean, it will be something that we won't forget on our whole life. These 3 years with Egon and Mitar, it has been 5 with Ismaila already at the Real Madrid. I think that they're gonna be friends forever for sure. When we met again in another court, therefore we're gonna remember this day for sure, because this was actually, I'm talking for the 4th or the 5th that we won last year, and the other guys that went out, that was one of the best days in our whole life.
What's your biggest memory you think that you'll have? Obviously, you just won it, but what's your biggest thing, your memory you have of this tournament?
I mean, how we were in the hotel, how the experience was out of the court, because of the court was amazing. I mean, you won 4 games. What else can you ask for? But the experience out of the hotel, being everyone together, I think that's something that I hope that happens again. I hope that we could play another game together. But yeah, the things out of the court are the things that I will remember forever.
You have celebrations, so I'll let you go. Congratulations.
They have built a platform of gold from which to launch their professional careers. And he's got his hands full. Player of the game, player of the tournament, champion Hugo Gonzalez. And look at that stat line again, a 27 PIR. Tremendous numbers on offense and defense from Gonzalez. No individual awards for Igor Demin, despite matching that 27 PIR in the championship game. 26 points, 6 assists, 11 rebounds, 3 steals and 2 blocks for Demin.
But as I said to you about Demin, it's almost if you don't know he's there.
Team player.
You look at the stats afterwards and said, he did what? And that will carry him for the rest of his career. And there were some special comments there from Hugo about the performance of this team and the family that they have built as a club. And that's what took them through some difficult times. And that's why they are worthy champions.
15 of Bosniakovic's 18 points came from halftime onwards. Hit some huge shots before the huge grandstand finish. Traore somewhat suffocated by Demin's defense, only finished 6 of 19 from the field with 18 points. Boulefard, 23 points, 13 rebounds, 8 offensive rebounds, 3 blocks, 2 steals. Thought he'd won it on a couple of occasions, but Real Madrid instead hoist the trophy in the most dramatic ADIDAS Next Generation Tournament Championship game we have ever witnessed.
Right, you can say that again, Tim. And, you know, the numbers almost just do not do justice to that. The percentage is relatively low for every single stats category. But you can't get a category for heart and for effort and just sheer will. From day 1 to day 4, Madrid have played 165 minutes of outstanding basketball.
More shots of their celebrations. They will enjoy this after all the hard work. And they'll go across to watch the Euroleague Championship game just a stone's throw away. And it tips off in around 6 hours' time. They will dream of being on that stage, but for now it's about enjoying this one. They're following in the footsteps of the likes of Luka Doncic and Usman Garuba. And there's many on this Madrid team that look capable of going to the top tier of European basketball or even beyond. From me, Tim Long, Martin Henman alongside me. It's been a pleasure having your company for the whole of this ADIDAS Next Generation Tournament Finals. We'll see you again next year.